Whenever I hear Bayonetta news, I think of this.
Oh, fuck me! I received another poster in the mail today. A Bayonetta poster. What's good about this poster? You can see Bayonetta's ass. Bayonetta's ass. Oh my fucking god. It is so fucking yummy. I wouldn't mind tasting it.
You think he fucks? Anyway.
And we're back.
We're back. So you haven't been here in a while. Mostly because my computer took a shit. And that's why there wasn't an episode last weekend, because I had my computer in pieces.
And I was surrounded by COVID, but I didn't get it.
Yeah,
so,
I know. Oddly enough.
We thought, yeah, that was weird.
Welcome back for another welcome back for another episode of the Blacklisted Gaming Podcast, everybody.
Yes.
I'm Brock. This is Nelson. And today we got a few topics to talk about. I'm going to front load the topics right now.
Okay.
So that way we know, so the viewers know what to expect. They got to get that hook in for the first 30 seconds, otherwise people don't want to watch it.
And we've wasted that time explaining it to you.
Yes. All right. So first things first, we're going to talk about the Bayonetta, Bayonetta 3 more specifically. So Hellena Taylor, who's the voice actress for Bayonetta, came forward about she allegedly said that the studio that was making the game was only going to pay her $4,000 to voice act for Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And she was saying this is a $4,000 flat rate for her voice acting for a multi-million-dollar game.
Yeah.
Essentially. And she was saying that, boycott this game and all that stuff, and called out the new voice actress of Bayonetta, which was kind of unfair on one hand. But if it was if this is actually true, that's pretty shitty that they were going to.
Well, I mean, it also depends on what else comes with it, too, because here's the thing, though.
But there's more.
No, the only reason why I'm saying that is because for a lot of people who don't realize things like, royalties, if you get, follow-ups.
Talk directly into this bit.
If you get follow-ups, point is if you get, certain amount of royalties, even if it's, a 1%, that means, 1% of every sale, even if it's only a few pennies, but they sell 3 million copies, right?
Well, it actually, so she was making it sound like that it was going to be $4,000 for her entire session.
Yeah.
All the sessions, to make the game.
Yeah.
And the studio actually responded to this,
Ooh.
saying that, no, you were offered 15 to 20 grand for 5 sessions, which is significantly more.
Right. No.
And her claim of the $4,000 flat rate was, I think they countered it. She apparently said that she wanted a 6-figure deal, which is nuts for 5 sessions, because Young, who's a content creator that I follow, he's a voice actor also.
Yeah.
And he even put out the wages that voice actors get through their union, and it's about $1,100 per session. She was getting offered $4,000 a session. She was getting offered almost 3 times her fucking rate,
right?
The union rate. So she was asking, and obviously take it with a grain of salt, because the studio says one thing, she says another thing. It's who has the receipts to prove this?
Well, here's the thing, though, is that, and I think if the company really wants to cover themselves, all they need to do is just be like, hey, here's the contract, here's the agreement that we offered her, and she said no.
Well, the studio director also didn't make things better, because his Twitter was talking about how before they actually said what they really offered her.
Yeah.
He was saying that her, her claims were fucking disingenuous and shit, and just bashing on her.
Well, also, to be fair, I mean, if he's telling the truth and that they didn't just offer her $4,000, regardless of whether that was good or bad offer or not, the fact of the matter is, though, is that, he is right. It is disingenuous to say, hey, boycott this product because I didn't like how I was being paid, because she said that she wanted. Because did she admit that she wanted fucking 6 figures?
I don't know. We're gonna dive into it
that's
more.
fine,
We're gonna
that's
dive
fine.
into it more.
Let's get the other things in here first.
So we're gonna dive into more about this whole Bayonetta thing because it's like it's not looking good for her. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm kind of assuming so because most companies don't say shit like that. Like, well, no. We offered you a lot more fucking money if they didn't actually do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just believe companies, but most of them say that shit because someone looked through some records or some files and said, "Oh no, bitch! Like we offered you more than this, and you said no." So
Because she wanted more.
exactly.
So another thing is the metaverse. And the metaverse is not looking very good right now because
Who could have guessed?
who could have guessed? One of the reasons why is the VR headset is around $1,500.
Holy shit! So one.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did. So my other friend group that we have a group chat with, they were pissed because a lot of them do like VR, and like even I can appreciate VR.
But no one's gonna want to spend $1,500 on a VR headset.
I know.
You might as well buy a fucking badass PC.
But it's also really weird though because you can buy an Oculus 2 like for like $200-$300 and it's fine. Like it works great. Like it's a pretty good piece of equipment. So it's like I know that they're doing this as a money grab. They either charged it stupid high for publicity, or they're like really thinking like, hey, well, if we really, deck this thing out, people will pay for it. And people are like, or you could go fuck yourself.
The whole situation has had even investors questioning whether or not they even want to keep backing this because of how much money it's cost to develop it, how poorly optimized it is, and how nobody is enjoying it.
So
in fact, it's so much so that even the developers don't like it. And they've come forward and said, we don't like this thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't function very well, and it's not very fun to use. And to the point where Meta employees are being forced to use it.
That's insane.
So they're being forced to use something, and they're like, if we don't enjoy it, how do we expect other people to enjoy this?
Yeah. That's so weird though, because like if you're gonna invest that much money, not in just the development, but also for like the price tag and put everything into it, then you would think that like they'd be like, no, we really topped this thing out. Like we really tried to make this the very best product that we could. And that's just so weird. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, in a sense, it's kind of like buying a PC with goggles. Like,
pretty much, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
That's essentially what it is now. And like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, if someone's like, hey, here's a PC. I'm going to charge you $1,500 to $2,000 for this PC. You'd be like, oh, well, typically speaking, if some dumbasses, whether it's a store or not, is trying to sell you this expensive of a product, typically speaking, it's going to be a little bit better of a PC. It's not going to be a $600 laptop you bought at Walmart, right? Which is fine. That's good. That's okay if you legitimately want to make a great high-end product. I'm not against that. But how are you going to make it run like shit? Like,
I don't know. A lot of people, even the investors, are wondering, like, what the fuck is Facebook doing right now? Like, what is Zuckerberg doing? I mean, the idea is great, but its execution is not.
Right.
And also the marketing is terrible. But we'll get into more of that in a little bit.
All right.
So the PS5 has seemingly been jailbroken using a PS4 exploit, and now players can run Kojima's PT. You remember PT?
Yeah.
It was like a teaser for the new Silent Hill game that never was.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into more of that, but it also can cause
inspired a lot of horror games.
It definitely did, yeah.
It really, like, even though PT never became its own game, and it's really sad.
Well,
what I'm saying though is that it still did a lot for the market though. Like it actually still had a really good impact to like inspire other horror games. Mostly the first half of a lot of horror.
Well,
games.
you can't really say anymore that it never came to anything.
Oh, is it?
Because now, fucking, who is it? Konami announced that they have a new Silent Hill game coming.
So is this
and this is not a pachinko game. This is a real Silent Hill. One, they're doing a Silent Hill remake.
So I don't know. So okay,
and then they're gonna do. Apparently, there's a new Silent Hill game coming after that.
Okay, so I can at least support that because I don't get me wrong. I'm a little hesitant when it comes to like a lot of like remakes. I do understand that Silent Hill 2 was a very like beloved horror game, and even I would like to play it because I haven't gotten the chance. But it's just the idea that like, I have to like it because I will stand by what I said. I'm okay with games being remade, especially when they're on systems that are totally inaccessible, right? Like you're not going to get it. Like I'm not going to expect people to get a PS2 and try to find an old Silent Hill 2 disc.
No, you're not.
So I can at least appreciate that for what it is.
I've seen the trailer for this, and it looks like a complete ground-up rebuild of the game.
Oh, kind of like the Spyro Crash Bandicoot
Pretty
treatment.
much, yeah. So,
Well, that's
but it's
okay.
Silent
Like-
Hill, so it looks good. But it also is very surprising that Konami is actually making a game, because the last time they made like a full-fledged game was like it was like some kind of Metal Gear Horde zombie thing. Metal Gear Survival. That's what it was.
So was that the one? I'm losing myself because I know there was a Metal Gear game that there was only a small section of like actual game, and people were mad because it was like beautiful. Like they loved what was in there. I don't know if it was Metal Gear Survive or I want to say 5 for some reason.
Metal Gear Solid 5. It wasn't 5 because Metal Gear Solid 5 was good.
Okay, because I know that there was a lot of people who had complained about the last either one or couple of the Metal Gear games, and they were like, a couple of them were like, they were very, very good, but the games were so short. And they were like, it was beautiful. You guys knew what you were doing. You were on top of it. They had everything put together well. It worked, and then there just wasn't a lot of game though. Like,
so the last Metal Gear game that came out is actually the last full game that I can think of that Konami made. I want to keep saying Kotaku or some shit, but anyway,
it's because you keep.
It was Metal Gear Survive was like kind of like a survival horror game,
right.
And it was very grindy and not fun, and people did not enjoy it. And the other thing that was hugely controversial was the fact that Konami was charging people for save files.
What the fuck?
So if you wanted an additional character with a new save file, you had to pay for it.
Why?
I don't know. And it was just like, since when? And I want to say they're probably the only game that I've seen do that.
That's the only time I've heard that, yeah.
And like they were saying, like, if you want to create another character, you're going to have to pay for the save slot. It's like, what? And it was like $20 or some shit, or like $10.
Oh,
it was like, no one's going to fucking do that. No one wants to pay money for a fucking new profile.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Gotham Knights. So Gotham Knights was the next installment of the Arkham series. It's not made by the same people, but it is like the next installment after Arkham Knight, which was really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Arkham Knight was not good on PC and had to be completely unlaunched because of that.
Oh, okay.
So the Gotham Knights was in development. It was announced earlier in the year, if not late last year.
So it was last year because I know that it was supposed to come out,
and they delayed it.
Yeah, they delayed it, and then now,
which honestly, they should have delayed it again because it's bad. It's bad. In fact, people are saying here's how bad how much they've dropped the ball with this.
Okay.
So they announced the week of its launch that the game on console would be locked at 30 frames per second.
Okay.
And they didn't announce it officially. They announced it on their Discord. So they said the week of, hey, if you're going to play this on console, you cannot change the performance. There's not going to be a performance mode or a quality mode to switch on consoles, and that's including next gen.
Oh, gee. Okay.
So the only thing you can do on the next gen console is turn ray tracing on, which even then still isn't much better. So, and the reason why they said that was because there's just so much detail and stuff in the world that it was causing stability issues to bump that frame rate up on consoles. However, at launch, that was proven to not be true because the city is just a barren fucking land. And the only thing that they changed to give it more depth was they added fog to make it look like Gotham City. It's like a very empty city, not much life in there. And then the other thing is it's so extremely grindy.
If you're going to fucking do that, that's the one thing I don't understand is that if you're going to do that, if you're going to like have like the fog, I was like, that's a good way to like optimize your game in terms of like make it bustling, make it everything, but then make the fog so that you don't have to have a huge draw distance.
So there's been footage comparing Arkham Knight to Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
And it is very night and day from a game that came out in 2015 that looks better and more lively than a game in 2022.
That's
and the other thing that they did was when you're playing the game, they have like a loot system.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it's a lot like the Avengers game loot system.
That's
so the game, but the thing is, it's not a live service game. So it looked like people are saying that this game looks like it was originally built to be
a live
service game,
and now it's just not.
and they decided to not do the live service, but keep the live service elements in there.
That's really sad to hear because I had a bunch of buddies who were like super excited about this, like, oh my god, and now I get to go talk shit. But anyway,
and also you can't play with more than one other person.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And the other thing is when you start the game, the city traversal mechanics are not unlocked until level 10. So you can't use like your grappling hook and your gliding abilities.
You're not even fucking Batman anymore.
Well, you have Batgirl, you have Robin and stuff.
I know you have like Red Hood. Like I get that, but like you're not even those characters anymore. That's like saying, all right, Spider-Man, you can't web sling till you're level 10.
That's what they were. That's
What?
actually the comparison I've been seeing. It's like, imagine if you were playing Spider-Man, you couldn't web sling through the city until you were level 10.
Or imagine if you were like Superman. Sure. Oh yeah, we'll even give you super speed. You can run really fast. All right, cool.
I'm sorry, not level 10. You have to complete 10 organized crime stops.
Point being is that you shouldn't lock it behind anything other than maybe a tutorial, because like, okay, I get that, like teach them how to play the game and then there you go, here's your grapple hook, you get to go off. But like seriously though, could you imagine being like Superman or Spider-Man? You can't fly or web sling until you do this and this. Are
10
you
times.
serious?
And the worst part is like if you do it that 10 times, you have to do that for every single character. You can't do it just once.
What the fuck?
And even
my
Skill
God.
Up, who's another like a reviewer and stuff, was even saying that he only did it to 2 characters because he just did not want to keep doing that.
I bet.
Because it was very grindy to get that unlocked for everybody. And he said it took him hours to unlock it for one. And he did it again because you have to stop crimes.
Yeah.
But then you also have to get information from those crimes to stop an organized crime. So the organized crime is the one that counts towards that ability. So you have to grind other crime stops to do the organized crime stop, and then that counts as one. You got to do that 10 times.
Fuck that.
And he was just like, I just did not want to keep doing that for everybody. So he just played with 2 characters. And it was just, that was the other thing. And the other thing is like the gear system just doesn't seem to make sense because the gear has mod slots, and it's the same thing that they did with Anthem, where lower level gear will have better stats than higher level gear.
Oh, you mean like For Honor?
Yeah, like For Honor. For Honor did the same thing, where lower level gear had better stats than higher level gear. But like it was said, well, I need the higher level gear to raise my level,
or to like play in a certain like either lobby or like for some games.
But the stats were not there.
Yeah. It's fucking dumb.
And then they have mod slots for all the gear, and the way that the crafting materials are, there is like 15 different crafting materials, and you don't know what they are because they're not clearly defined. Oh, you have to go look at the gear item to see what crafting item you need for it, and the crafting system apparently is complete dog shit. No one likes using it, and you got to go look at your menu of items to see if the image matches the image needed for that item. It doesn't tell you what it is.
What the fuck?
So it's a whole bunch of shit. Gotham Knights is a mess. But what else is a mess is this Amouranth situation, which is going to be our top topic for the day. So Amouranth last weekend came forward at, not only is she married, which people speculated but wasn't really confirmed, but she came forward and said that she was married, but she also in a call with the guy showed that he is now, this is, I will say this is her side of the story. They were fighting, and he apparently is an asshole, a huge asshole. And the other thing about it was that she even said that she wanted to tell people that she was married, but he wouldn't let her. And the hot tub stuff and all that other weird shit that she's been doing, allegedly from her, was him making her do that stuff. So the jar farting and all that shit,
yeah,
that was his idea.
That's weird.
According to her. Now, he has never come forward about whether or not any of this is, he hasn't tried to refute these statements, which is kind of a telltale sign that she's probably not lying.
Right. Well, because you would think at least, you know, again, I'm not saying that
if it wasn't true, you would try to defend yourself.
Oh yeah, no. Well, what you would do is it'd probably be a couple of days, right? You get all your proof together, you get everything, you know, like, I would get things like text chains, you know, whatever you could, and be like, put it out there, upload it, be like, hey, I'm the husband of so and so. She's literally making this shit up. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll show you. Have you seen the video?
I have not.
So I'll show you the video. The dude sounds fucking insane.
Oh, really?
He's screaming at her. The text messages that he sent her was calling her a dumb fucking bitch, and like saying like, stick to the plan. Your stream is garbage. I'm blowing all your money. I'm gonna leave you with nothing and stuff like that.
What the fuck?
I'm throwing your merch off the balcony.
So there's
I'm gonna send your dog to the meatpacking facility.
Okay, that's weird. But like, point is that so there's enough there to where we can be like, yeah, she's probably not faking this. Like,
yes,
for real though.
From what I could see,
I'm just saying, most abusive husbands are pretty easy to see about. They're pretty easy to tell. Like, hey, yeah, this guy's fucked up. Like, there's an issue here. And if you're not an abusive husband, I couldn't imagine, a context for any of those text messages. Like,
I'll show them all. I'll show everything to you. And then we'll kind of give our opinions based off of that. And the other thing was that she also recently said she came on a stream like 3 days after that whole thing happened, saying that, she can finally wear clothes again. And she doesn't have to do the content that, like, I don't have to always have my tits out. I can do whatever stream I want. I can wear clothes.
The only thing that kind of
sleep.
Like sucks for her business is the fact that since her husband, will go along with the fact that maybe, she's telling the truth. But like, if your husband made you like build your entire social media outlet around you getting your jugs out and trying to act sexy and stupid, could you imagine trying to come back as like an even semi-intellectual person who's clothed?
Well, the thing is, she also said that he had control of all of her money.
Right.
And
so
like all the finances and stuff,
benefit.
And social media, like he had control of all of that. So like that's what she was saying. And even in the text, we're suggesting that he also has control of that stuff because he was threatening to delete her Twitter and all that stuff.
Well, that's so hard for her. Like again, if she's like not playing a very long game con here, like that's gonna suck because hey, you do social media because that's it's what that's what you do. And that was all themed around you getting your tits out. And suddenly now you're like, hey, I can wear clothes again. How much of that fan base?
Okay, so here's the thing. If that is something that you want to do, fair enough.
Right, but like,
she even said it herself. There's a difference between being forced to do something and then doing something at your own volition. She could still do that kind of content, but she doesn't. The whole point she was trying to get at, she doesn't always have to do that kind of content.
Right, but what I'm saying though is that I don't think, especially let's say she does have now financial and complete independent freedom from her husband, if you obviously were being forced to do this, type of content way outside of your comfort zone, chances are now your business is going to take a huge hit because most of her followers, let's just be honest, most of her followers were not like, oh wow, I love her personality, she's a really nice person, let's follow her, and give her money. It was all the fucking, incels and fucking creepy dudes online who were like, yeah, of course, who were like, yeah.
It's funny because the simps and the incels response to this whole thing was very wild because the simps were like, they overlooked the fact that there is a very good chance that she is a victim of abuse and being exploited, and said, wait, she's married? I was fucking scammed and I want my money back.
What the fuck?
And it's like, dude, no one put a gun in your head and said donates thousands of dollars to Amouranth.
Also, by the way, like,
and I even
said, what are the chances? I'm just being honest here. Like, how desperate do you have to be or feel to be like, oh, well, yeah, I have a shot because I donated money on
it's
an
the same people that think that strippers want to marry them.
Yeah, but at least the stripper's like physically giving you a lap dance. This dude clicked a button on the other side of a fucking screen and was like, I have a shot. Like, what the fuck?
I know.
Anyway.
It's so delusional. It's a delusional fucking mindset like, where it's like, you really thought that you were going to pay somebody online and they were saying, well, she told me she was single. And there was a video to back that she did say that she was single, and then he donated money to her.
Well,
but here's the thing. She was saying that she was only telling people she was single because her husband was making her.
Yeah.
She wanted to tell people that she was married, and she thought it would help their marriage if that information was public and that he would be on stream with her.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone knew that she was married, she said, I think our marriage would be. She even said it in her video. She's like, I tried saying, let's just tell people we're married. It'll probably help our marriage, and he wouldn't do it.
Well, no, because he's probably one of those creepy dudes who realize that, hey, a lot of these simps only want to be, only want to follow
That
her
was
because
actually
they think
why
that she's single. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it will ruin the business model.
Well,
That's what he told her.
Well, because 100%, like if you're a fucking creepy dude and you're, engineering your wife's social media just to exploit her for fucking money because of her fucking, looks. Yeah. Like, why would he tell people about that? Like,
I know. We'll get back into it. I really want to, because since you deal a lot with mental health.
Yes.
And I really want your take on that. I want to, because have you ever had to deal with like sailors that are being in,
I have stories. We'll talk about those.
sailors that are in abusive relationships or marriages currently that you've had to like talk with them.
Oh yeah, many times.
So you will be able to really identify, because I'm looking at, I'll say it like this, my unprofessional like diagnosis of this is the guy's got bipolar disorder.
I mean, he might he definitely might be bipolar
because the whole thing, the text, him yelling at her on the phone sounds like a manic episode.
I mean, true, but like he also might have things like borderline personality disorder, just because like a lot of people with BPD tend to like. They have a goal in mind. Like they have like their friends, their family, and they love them very much. But then as soon as their friends and family don't want to go along with them, they freak out and they think that they're against them, and they're mean and they're fucking
and they turn people
vicious.
against each other.
Yeah, and they're vicious against them, and they act like they're always the victim. And so like there's a lot of things. Let's get through our topics and we'll talk about that stuff here.
Before we get into the topics, yesterday was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was fun.
Oh my God, poor Keisha.
You got to send me some of the photos of Keisha so I can post it to the abandoned haunted house fucking page.
Oh no, I will do that literally this second.
But yeah, so Nelson's girlfriend is she your girlfriend or fiance?
She's my girlfriend.
His girlfriend is terrified of clowns. And we went to a haunted house last night, and of course, in natural haunted house fashion, what are at haunted houses? Clowns.
Actually,
clowns with chainsaws.
Hold on a second, though. Let's just talk about the fact that, and it was a very good time. I'm not criticizing them like, oh, they didn't do a good job, or, this haunted house fucking sucked or anything. Like, no. But it was just weird because they had a lot of actors, they had a lot of props, they had a lot of stuff going on, and it was very well done. But for some reason, they didn't have that many clowns. Like they had like
in the clown section of the haunted house. You mean? Yeah,
like
I know.
They had the two clowns out like scaring people while they're waiting to get into the actual haunted houses, and you're like, okay, cool. You got a couple like killer clowns with chainsaws, whatever. And then like we get into the haunted house and there's a clown section. We're like, oh shit, like haha,
It's like a weird striped clown maze.
Yeah, and I was really excited because I know Keisha's like gonna freak out about the clown. She's gonna, lose her.
And there were really no clowns in there.
I think there was like one person.
There wasn't even a lot of clown props.
No, so there was like one person who was like on a swing, who was like scaring you going back and forth, and there was like one like what looks like gymnastics person, like a circus kind of person, and then there was like one giant clown prop that would like jump out and like scare you, and it was actually really big. But point is like that was it. Like that was really it for that whole section. And not that the section itself wasn't creepy, but like there wasn't that many clowns or clown props or clown actors that were like actually trying to like scare you. And I was like, she got off pretty easy.
Yeah, she did. She really did.
Although they throughout the whole haunted house, I will say that they did actually give her a hard fucking time. It was great. It was funny.
Their props were good too.
They were.
A lot of their props, I'm like, I can't tell if that's real or not.
So they did a good job of giving almost just about everybody what seemed like baggy clothing. Mm-hmm. So if you had a mannequin just standing there with baggy clothing, it was like
they looked similar.
Yeah, it looked the same. And so you're like, oh, like, is that a person? Is that not? That one old fat woman who was just
in the chair
sitting there. Oh my God. I thought that was a fucking prop. I thought, I'm like,
is that a prop or not? There was one where it was like a mannequin. He had the tape all over his face.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I know you thought you're like, that's real. And I'm like,
no,
bro.
I think he just didn't move because his eyes were moving.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The light hit his eyes and his eyes were looking this way. And then he like looked at me and I was like, that is a real person. Why is he not moving? Anyway, let's talk about Bayonetta right now.
Yes.
All right. So Bayonetta, voice actress Hellena Taylor was offered just for this is her allegation. This is when she came out. We're going to go in order with this. So she came out saying that she was offered only $4K to voice the Part 3 game and to boycott the game. So, major controversy in the video game world. The lady who voiced Bayonetta for years says she was offered a chump change of Part 3 and now wants the entry boycotted. Here's her video of this.
Hello, my name's Hellena Taylor, and I am the voice of Bayonetta, and I would like to explain to you why I didn't voice Bayonetta.
And this is a 1 minute long video here.
The Bayonetta franchise made an approximated $450 million. That's not including merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, I trained for a total of 7.5 years. 3 years at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, LAMDA, with voice coach Barbara Barkery, and 4.5 years with the legendary Larry Moss.
Now, the reason why I'm showing this is so that we can get her words on this.
Did they think this was worth? What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to do the whole game as a buyout, a flat rate, was $4,000 US.
Now, in that, she claims to do the whole game was going to flat rate of $4,000. Now, what she didn't say was it was going to be a flat rate of $4,000 per session.
Oh, was that like the actual like?
Essentially, yeah, she was offered like apparently we'll get into more of all that in a second here.
Insult to me. The amount of time
I already don't like her.
that I took to work on my talent.
What the fuck was that? Was that water? It sounds like a water cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And everything that I have given to this game and to the fans. I am asking the fans to boycott this game and instead spend the money that you would have spent on this game donating it to charity. I didn't want the world. I didn't ask for too much.
She asked for 6 figures. She asked for a lot.
So this is
asking for a decent, dignified living wage. What they did was legal, but it was immoral.
How about get fucked, mate? Anyway, so
how about get fucked, mate?
So I don't like this because like at least basing my opinions off of what you told me and what she has said, it makes it look like they made a lot of fucking money and I expect that I should get paid more of that fucking money.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, hold on a sec now, dude. This is not me belittling voice actors, but you said 5 sessions, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll dive more into that detail.
Right. But for essentially 5 sessions, you're expecting to get paid 6 figures. How about no?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No voice unless so. And Alicia even brought this up that a lot of like game companies and movie companies are using celebrities for voice acting, even though they're not like trained voice actors.
Yes.
For because of their public figure,
well,
essentially.
Also, too, like unless you're doing some things that are very difficult, like certain things like singing. And again, I'm not taking away from voice actors here, not at all. I'm not insulting them. I'm not saying that their job is easy, but I'm also saying too that there's a lot of people who do a lot of speaking and who do a lot of things that who know how to do a good voice for voice acting. And it's not like voice acting back in the day where your voice had to be absolutely flawless. They can auto-tune anything out. If you have a fuck up, as long as you're saying the right words, they can make it sound right. You know what I mean? So like, no, I'm sorry. Your talents are not worth me telling you, hey, I'm going to pay you, 6 fucking figures. That's a lot of fucking money for you just to get up there for 5 sessions and talk into this microphone and have me tweak your voice for you. I'm sorry. Like you're not worth that much.
Well, the thing is, like, voice actors do have, like I said before, they do have a union, and the voice actors union, based on like how prominent you are, it's essentially the same levels as it is for like any other trade union.
Right.
Where you have your level of apprenticeship, then your journeyman and your foreman and all that stuff. It's the same with voice acting.
Oh yeah.
And then they have a rate that's determined by the union that it's a minimum rate of like $1,000, which minimum rate usually means like that is like what you have to pay this person versus what you choose to pay the person.
Right.
You can choose to pay them more.
Right.
What is this one? This is part 3 apparently.
For those of you who are interested, I'd like to go into a little more detail about the back and forth. The first thing was I was
This is
required to audition again, because sometimes voices change with time. So I auditioned for the role and obviously passed with flying colours. They then sent me an insulting offer. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to write to Hideki Kamiya. I'm going to write to him and ask.
Now, Hideki Kamiya is actually, I think he's the game director. He's like the guy in charge of all of it.
Yeah.
Essentially, what she was saying right here was like after that, she, counteroffered, and then they counteroffered back. Basically, we're saying that like you could do a cameo. Like we'll pay you to do a cameo. We'll just replace you.
Ask him for what I'm worth. So I got a friend who has been in business in Japan.
So what was your fucking counteroffer?
To him.
We'll dive into that in the next article,
I
I
know
think.
you read it because I got a reply. I got a reply saying that he values greatly my contribution to the game and that the fans really want me to voice it over. And the memory of first meeting me as Bayonetta is a memory I hold dear. So I thought, great, thank God. That was when they offered me $4,000
For one session.
Do you know, Platinum had the cheek to say that I was busy, that they couldn't make it work with Miss Taylor's schedule. Well, I had nothing but time. They now have a new girl voicing her over.
This is her calling
I love
out the news
actors.
jack.
I wish her all the joy in the world. I wish her all the jobs, but she has no right to say she is the voice of Bayonetta. I created that voice. She has no right to sign merchandise as Bayonetta.
Get fucked.
Any more than I have the right to sign as Eva Green, even though I was her parrot on the video game The Golden Compass. That portrayal is hers and hers alone.
Okay, so Taylor claims that she even wrote a games director, games creator, director, Hideki Kamiya, to explain why she thought it would be a huge disservice to write her off and all that stuff. In the end, Platinum Games and Nintendo are behind the uber popular Bayonetta franchise. Tapped legendary voice actress Jennifer Hale, who this is. Oh, I should probably go to the article scene. This is my dumbass actually didn't show that fucking video. I was on our group cameras that whole time.
Oh,
oops. So this is Jennifer Hale, a veteran in the gaming world, almost certainly got paid more than just $4K. That's what Twitter thinks anyway. So Taylor says that her beef isn't with Taylor. What? I think that's a typo. Whom she wishes the best, but also notes that this woman has no right to claim herself as Bayonetta, as the character's been helmed by herself since the beginning. She also slams the video game industry at large for what she says is a systematic practice of skewing, a systematic practice of screwing over talent and keeping all the profits for executives.
I mean, well, I'm not saying that that's not a problem. I don't think that that's what happened in your case.
No, it didn't happen in this case at all. So we actually have. Now, I actually want to talk before we go into this about fucking. What was the guy's name? Platinum Games director. His Twitter. Now, this guy's fucking Twitters.
Oh, are you talking about Hideki Kamiya?
Hideki Kamiya. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Kamiya. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
Hideki Kamiya.
There was literally a link for his Twitter.
I think this guy, his Twitter posts were pretty fucking wild. He ended up closing his Twitter account because he has this weird rule that you have to talk to him in Japanese, otherwise he will block you. So it was fucking weird.
So that I don't think that that's a weird rule for him or Japanese.
Well, the thing is, it's basically if you call it, people were asking like, "Hey, is this true?" Is there any counterclaim to this? He would block them, and then he would chastise people on Twitter and just fucking yell at them and stuff. Let's see, Bayonetta 3 director and close his Twitter account. So let's actually go into. So director of Platinum Games Hideki Kamiya seems to have closed his Twitter account in the midst of the growing controversy concerning the pay rate of Hellena Taylor. The account was flagged for suspicious activity, most likely for blocking a large number of people in the wake of the ongoing backlash to his poor handling of Taylor calling out for a boycott of the upcoming Bayonetta 3. The unmistakable words, "This account doesn't exist," now grace the profile page. So let's see what if I'm sure people saved his fucking responses. I guess they didn't save the responses. Someone's got to have them. Someone's got to have them. Right? Here it is.
Hey.
For those curious, yes, this happened to me. I booked a lead character of AAA games so many times. Let's see. I'm trying to find fucking what this dude actually said. Because context matters. Context matters. Oh, yeah. Here it goes. Bayonetta 3 developers VP blocks critics on the wage controversy. This is way too big. Here it is. So sad and deplorable about the attitude of untruth. That's what I can tell now. By the way, beware of my rules. That's what he said about his Twitter. This person said Hideki Kamiya is now blocking people that are questioning why Platinum Games decided to disrespect the value of Hellena Taylor's voice actor work. His funny antics is now turning into pure deflection of cowardice from him. So what he was doing, he was blocking people if they don't follow his Twitter page's rules. Like, he has rules set in place on his Twitter account. So he said that he said, beware of my rules. What else? I want to know about his rules. Tell me your rules, bro. So fans have been relentless of their attacks on Platinum Games after the Bayonetta's voice actor, Hellena Taylor. I mean, so this is one of those things you really should dive into. This is there's another side of the story that you're not hearing. But the publisher's actually been pretty silent about it up until recently, I will say. Yeah, so this guy was blocking people on fucking Twitter about this shit. So, but the truth is here, they responded finally.
Well, here's the thing though, is that if you're the director of a game, you know what I mean? You don't like speak for the company.
No, you don't.
So the fact that he's a little socially inept isn't actually surprising. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, but the way that he went about it was like he could have said like, "There's more details than this.
Oh,
like,
no,
let us give us some time to actually respond."
But this is still akin to asking the head of janitorial department what his thoughts on company policy are. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying of like, you're asking someone who's in charge of making a game who's not in charge of the company or in charge of like speaking for the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Jason Schreier, the games journalist that we always, refer to, he actually did like more investigating in this, and on Bloomberg actually reported saying, all of this shit that she was saying is not exactly true.
Yeah.
And I trust what he says. I really do.
Well,
so
unfortunately, like I'm not gonna lie, like I could tell her attitude, especially by the way that she talked about, like, I went to school for 7.5 years, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm sorry, but like, and I understand that yes, you put a lot into this profession, that's okay, but you can say that instead of saying I went to school for 7.5 years under the prestigious,
Lambda Academy,
the voice director Lambda of this prestigious university.
She was just pissed because she didn't get her fucking way.
Yeah, she was pissed because she didn't get paid what she wanted. Now, are you allowed to be upset by that? Like, hey, I offered a counteroffer and they said no. I'm sorry, I'm not doing the voice of Bayonetta. Like, I understand that. Like, that's okay for you to walk away. But at the same time, too, and I understand that she did publicly voice that she's not mad at the new voice actress, but she's really mad that the new voice actress took it. And she's like, well, that's my fucking character. I'm like, whoa, dude, hold on. Like, calm down. Because she's like, well, I can't sign things as this other character that I played in a video game. I'm like, but you did take someone else's role. So don't be mad at this new girl because you're fucking pissy. It's not all right.
No, it's not. Hang on. I want to find Bloomberg's. Let's see.
Just put like Bloomberg.
Hang on. Bloomberg report on Bayonetta 3. I should have just done that from the beginning.
Yes.
This sucks. So this was 2 days ago. Platinum Games responds. Let's see. Bloomberg report claims new details. So here we go. Fuck. So it says Bloomberg report claims new details on Bayonetta 3 voice acting pay controversy. So a report from Bloomberg has provided a new apparent details of this weekend's claims of a low ball offered for Hellena Taylor's reprise of the role Bayonetta in next week's release. According to reporting from Jason Schreier, Taylor was reportedly offered $3,000 to $4,000 per session for 5 sessions of voice work, $15,000 to $20,000 overall before taxes and other expenses. Reportedly, Taylor demanded a 6-figure sum as well as residuals, a percentage of the game sales for the role. So she wanted a percentage of the game sales plus the fucking 6-figure to do the voice acting. So Taylor's denied claims to Bloomberg, calling it absolute lie and accusing Nintendo developer Platinum Games of trying to save their ass and the game. Residuals were a frequent point of controversy in 2016 and 2017, struck by the SAG after a union local representing game voice actors. So but the whole thing about that is that she claims it was a lie, but she has no receipts for this.
Yeah.
However,
They have
Platinum
receipts.
Games
They have receipts
does.
for this, yeah.
And they did respond to this. I'm tired of these fucking... Why? So, Platinum Games, the studio for Bayonetta, accused of lowballing with immoral compensation, has responded to the ongoing voice actor controversy surrounding this game. The studio does not directly address any claims made by Taylor, instead opting to voice its support for new Bayonetta voice actor Taylor's replacement, Jennifer Hale. So they say, we at Platinum Games offer our sincerest appreciation to everyone who contributed to creating Bayonetta series over the years, as well as the community that has served its foundation. We give our full support to Jennifer Hale as the new Bayonetta and align with everything in her statement, because she did make a statement saying that, like, hey, I can't say anything. So the new voice actor said, I'm under an NDA. I can't really talk about it.
Right.
But I do feel it's not fair for her to basically say that she owns all the fucking rights to Bayonetta. Like, I can't claim to be Bayonetta because she voice acted her first. It's not fair. But so Bloomberg actually reported on the story with this whole thing. Here's what it is right here. You know, one of VCG's sources told the publication that the offer, which would have totaled around $15,000, was a significant increase compared to what she received for Bayonetta 2. In response to this, Taylor reportedly requested a 6-figure payment and residuals of the game. Platinum declined this counteroffer, and after the two parties couldn't come to an agreement, began holding auditions for a new voice actor. So Platinum later offered Taylor a cameo in the game with a payment for 1 session, but she turned it down. Taylor told Bloomberg in an email recounting it was an absolute lie, and Platinum is trying to save their ass in the game. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, quite frankly, and get on with my life in the theater, she wrote in an email, according to Bloomberg.
No wonder why she's sad and desperate for money.
Right. She's stuck in theater. So neither Platinum nor Nintendo returned requests to comment from the publication. Taylor echoed similar sentiments to VGC in private messages, according to the publication's story. So I guess there really wasn't any receipts shown from what it looks, but, you know, honestly, it's really hard to say, but from what it looks like, Hellena Taylor was asking for more than what, you know, obviously what she should have been getting.
Oh, yeah.
And was pissed about that offer. And I do trust Bloomberg. I trust Jason Schreier. I mean, even if you don't have to agree with him, but he is a good reporter and he reports what he's told. And he's pretty good about being accurate. So,
well, also, too, the problem is, though, is that, like, so here's the thing. If, you know, let's say this game makes millions and millions of dollars, right? Cool beans. The problem is that if you're going to ask for $100,000, it's a pretty hefty sum just to be like, hey, I'm going to come in here, do 5 sessions of voice acting.
Well, now sessions are like up to 8 to 12 hours long.
Right. Still, I don't care.
Which is roughly $250 an hour.
I'm just saying you're talking.
I mean, people pay Joe Rogan to talk.
Yeah, but that's because those are idiots. It's like,
what if we get paid to do this?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, is that if we get paid to do this and I ask you I want $100,000 for the gig, you're going to tell me to go fuck myself. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Here's the thing, though. But, like, if you're going to ask for things like residuals or, like, royalties, like, you need a smaller initial sum. That's how you make those, you know, arguments and agreements. And personally, get fucked. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, I agree with you.
what are you looking at?
You're gonna see in a second here. Whenever I hear Bayonetta news, I think of this. Oh, that's loud. Hang on. That was so loud. I'm so sorry. This guy is fucking. This guy's great. He's a classic.
Oh, fuck me! I feel so good. I received another poster in the mail today. A Bayonetta poster. I am going to order another Bayonetta poster from Amazon this week or next week. Anyways, I paid $7 for this poster. What's good about this poster? You can see Bayonetta's ass.
You think he fucks? Anyway.
Bayonetta's ass. Oh my fucking god. It is so fucking yummy. I wouldn't mind tasting it. Bayonetta can suck my dick anytime she wants. I give her permission.
It's all about consent, bro.
So I hate and love videos like this, mostly because when you think about it, it's either a dude who's like really that weird, or he's pretending to be that weird.
This dude is fucking. I love this guy so much.
It's fucking.
So I found this guy on Your Mom's House podcast. Oh shit! Stop. My fucking tube buddy is like showing me all the video stats. Hang on, let me show you. So this guy, he has a really big obsession with like posters and fucking mouse pads. So yeah, let me show you this guy.
I certainly got something
It's the same guy.
interesting in the mail today.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Delta White custom mouse pad. What's interesting about this mouse pad, I can now jerk off with the mouse while scrolling all over her body. Her pussy is yummy. Her tits are fantastic. I certainly wouldn't mind tasting her magnificent ass.
Oh God, I love it so much. Hang on, here's another one.
Why?
Oh, fuck yeah! I received something hot and very good in the mail.
Good.
Listen,
Another fucking Delta White mouse pad.
he loves Bayonetta and Delta White. I don't know why.
I paid $13 for this mouse pad on Amazon.
How many mouse pads do
I
you need?
tried searching all over Amazon. It seems Amazon,
This video does not go in a direction that you would expect. Just watch.
they have no posters of Delta White. Just these two fucking mouse pads.
These fucking mouse pads.
I don't know who Delta White is.
A double dose of Delta for my mousey.
Listen.
I am a fucking Jew. My tongue, my saliva is 100% kosher. I'm sure Delta White wouldn't mind having my tongue licking her off while my saliva drips all over her yummy pussy.
Oh yeah, I love the fucking Bayonetta poster guy.
Good lord.
I got something in the fucking mail today. Her pussy is yummy. Her tits are fantastic. Oh God.
Another part that I lost it at was, I got something very good in the mail.
Something very good in the mail today.
No, it was almost a fucking T. Like,
It's funny because it's like people were giving this guy shit, calling him a Russian, and he's like, I am not a fucking Russian. I am a fucking Jew. And he would say that. He would say, this is his quotes. And like he would show his kippah. He would show his fucking what's the fucking, is it the Torah?
yeah.
He would show off his Torah and all that shit.
Oh.
And
Okay.
this guy has a lot of videos. And yeah, like whenever I hear Bayonetta news, I think of that guy. I think of that fucking poster. I thought I'd bless you with something that was funny, weird,
Thanks.
and not porn.
Thanks.
I know it's the little things, man.
I think that's even worse than the porn.
Not really. I mean, you don't have to watch a chick fucking shit and eat it, and then put a corn cob inside of her.
But
I showed my buddy that, and he had no reaction to it. I was
Like-
he was like, I don't know why people do that. I'm like, I don't
like
either.
it's weird. Again, I was just more concerned about the fact, like, congratulations, you are irreparably damaging your own vagina with all that bacteria and shit for no fucking reason.
Oh, you're talking about the corn cob. I'm
Yeah.
like, what does that have to do with the poster guy?
No. I was talking about the porn that you showed me, and I was kind of creeped out the first time, not because there was like disgusting porn. Like, oh, I knew what you were getting at as soon as it started getting fucked up. I was like, oh, this bitch. Like, okay.
Oh, you a nasty chick.
Yeah, exactly.
You a nasty chick.
But like at first, it looks like just a normal porno, and I was like, Brock, like we're cool, man, but like
I know we're not that.
we're
cool.
not that cool. I'm sorry. Like, but yeah, no, it was weird. I think the one that was even worse than that, apart from like her being just disgusting, was the one with the nun that you showed me.
Oh, the Church of Fudge.
Yeah, where she was just straight up
Oh,
eating
Svesta.
shit.
Oh, Svesta. And wait, do you mean the priest was eating her shit, letting her poop right in his mouth?
Yeah,
And
I think
like,
that was even worse.
that shit was hilarious because it was just like it played like the church hymns while it was happening.
Like,
and
I
then
think
she
that was
farts
even-
on his face.
Like, that was even worse only for the simple fact that, like, there was no, like, oh, we're going to try to put something else into this. So, like, you're getting into weird territory.
It started
With,
off
like, the corn. It was just like, we're eating shit here. Listen, man, I understand that people do weird stuff in pornos. I understand that there's people who do things in pornos that they don't even find sexually attractive. It's for money. But I don't know what amount of money you could try to pay me. Like, even if it's in the millions of dollars, I don't know how I could get myself through literally eating shit.
dude. Scat stuff is
sorry.
is a fetish that I don't understand.
Like, and
At
that's not
all.
even like how, like, oh, like, you know, a lot of guys, like, we like jokingly like make fun of the people who are like into feet or like into like something else. Like,
Poop
no,
people make feet people look like normal people.
normal fucking people. It's weird because, again, like, I've never been like part of the whole foot thing. I think it's weird. I think it's just out there.
It's just not your thing.
It's not my thing. But I can also understand as well, as long as someone's fucking clean, right? You'd be like, oh, like someone could be into that. Like, I can understand that.
But the poop stuff,
But the poop stuff is on a whole nother level of like,
damage.
you couldn't even pay me any sum of money and expect me to get through that. Like, I'm sorry.
I can't wrap my head about, because like naturally the human response to feces is to be repulsed by it.
Yeah.
But where's the wires cross in an individual that comes from that?
Also, too, I'm
Literally,
not, like,
I'm
not gonna,
saying.
I'm not gonna lie, right?
I'm not kink shaming, but that
no,
I will.
I'm fucking king shaming because I'm not gonna lie. How are y'all alive? The reason why I ask this, okay,
It's very, yeah.
you know, when the
it's-
whole eating ass thing came out and like people were like, it was being popularized. People were like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know, people poop out of that.
if you wash it, it's fine.
I'm not into that. Yeah, but I mean,
I eat ass.
If I take cavi wipes and I wipe your sewer drain, can I convince you to lick it?
No, there's shit on it.
I rest my case.
You can clean your ass though.
Yeah, but that's been an entire lifetime of poop coming out of there, man. I'm sorry. It's only going to be so clean. Like, I'm sorry. It's not like, oh, hey, I'm going to wash my arm, or I'm going to even wash like your junk. I don't shit out of my dick. So here's the thing.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know
So
why.
here's the thing. You can clean the rest of you up. And I'm not saying like you can't clean your ass. Just wash your ass, people. But
wash your ass.
But like the thing is though, is that is an entire lifetime of poop coming out of there. It's only going to get so clean or not smell like taint so much, right? I'm just saying, unless you pour bleach in your ass, and don't do that either. But like,
don't do that.
But point is though, is that, it's only going to get so clean before it's like, hey, it's still fucked up.
Do you?
Right.
Did I forgot to tell you this last night. You know what my dumbass did by accident? So I've been having a lot of issues with the muscles at the base of my head, where my neck goes. So these muscles back here, they're overworked, so they hurt and it gives me headaches.
Yeah.
So I put Tiger Balm on it, and it actually, because Tiger Balm's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. I washed my hands afterwards too, and I went pee.
Yeah.
Use your imagination and where that went. My dick was minty burning up until we went to the fucking haunted house.
That's fantastic.
And I was like, I feel like I pissed my pants. Like that's how fucking minty fresh it was. And it wasn't fun. And like my dick was burning because I accidentally, and I forgot that I did that with my hand. And as I'm like getting ready to leave, and I'm just like, and then it dawned on me, it was like, oh no. I put Tiger Balm on my hand, and then I fucking didn't wash it off very well. And then I touched myself with it. So it was like, oh shit. So yeah, that was not fun.
But yeah, no. So like my point is that there was a story, when I was in high school, when eating ass was getting popularized, of a dude getting E. coli.
Hell yeah.
And people were like, oh,
that's because she didn't wash herself.
Right. But here's my point though. That's what I'm asking. People who are into scat, who are into shit, how are y'all alive?
Yeah, that is true.
I'm sorry. Like you can and I understand that, when you get exposed to things like bacteria or to other stuff, like you do build up resistance and immunity. Your immune system gets stronger, but you can only be exposed to E. coli so many times before you do keel over. Like, I'm sorry. And
E. coli is bad news.
Yeah, E. coli is a pretty serious pathogen. It's not just like, oh, like there's dirt. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like most people.
But there's also other diseases and bacteria that comes through fecal matter too.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's the point though. Is that's such a bad thing to do for your health. Like
straight up eat poopy.
Yeah,
I don't get
I'm
it either.
sorry. Like, well, even just to play and shit. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but you can only like. I'm not one of those people who has to be hyper clean all the fucking time.
Yeah.
But when you were literally rubbing shit all over yourself and you're expecting like, oh yeah, everything's gonna be totally fine. No, it's not.
Especially when you're putting it inside of your body.
Not only do I think you should be locked up and never let out, but like,
yeah, the poop.
But like, it is bad for you.
Speaking of poop,
Metaverse.
The Metaverse. So it's been nearly a year since Facebook rebranded itself to Meta, and it's funny because Metaverse is failing so hard, and Facebook rebranded to Meta.
So someone needs to buy the name Facebook.
Yeah, I guess.
I know I would do that so they can't go back just to be a dick.
So founder Mark Zuckerberg, and the company are facing serious doubts from the public, media, and some of their own employees about the future of the focus of Metaverse. Just yesterday, Meta officially revealed this new MetaQuest Pro VR headset. The premium rig will cost adopters $1,500, and the headset was designed specifically with work in mind rather than gaming. And so that's the other thing. It's designed with work in mind over gaming. And there was even a guy that went on Lex Friedman's podcast who's like, formerly with this company, saying that like the problem with the way that they're doing this is that Meta is being focused on its profitability over its use. It's not its user interface, but it's user experience.
Oh,
So it's looking more at like it's what's profitable versus user experience, and that's like a backwards way to go about it, because if you don't have a good user experience, it's not going to be profitable. So anyway, so yeah, $1,500 for a headset, by the way, is fucking insane.
yes.
And especially specifically with work in mind rather than gaming. So as Zuckerberg shared on The Verge, and Meta is targeting people who routinely upgrade their PC instead of opt for the Quest Pro, basically saying this is a step forward. All 200 million of those people who get new PCs every year starting instead to do some work on VR. Additionally to all the folks who are gaming, hanging out socially, and etc. Now, VR is a very niche thing. But also the other thing about VR is that not everybody likes using VR, because it's just it's almost nauseating for a lot of people.
Yes.
Alicia can't use VR because
Keisha
of
can't
that.
use it.
There's a lot of people. So it's like VR is already a niche thing. And even still, people that do enjoy it,
it's not going to be niche either. Like
it's not. It's never going to be not
this
niche.
This like very legitimately might be a gaming thing that I think will eventually become an option. So like my predictions for like VR, I think that you're gonna have to a point, because especially once it gets cheap enough to where like you can reliably put it on any console, any PC, and it's not gonna be that difficult, right? I think it's gonna get a lot slimmer. I think it's gonna get, you know, a lot smaller, and I think it's gonna be something that you can literally either plug in or have like a wireless connection to your gaming item of choice, right? And it'll be something that you can be like, hey, you can either sit in a chair and play a game and you know, look around, because I'm not gonna lie, I would love to be able to be like, hey, you're in a game and you're playing a controller.
See, there's few games that I would want to play with like that, and one of them being like Ace Combat and shit, like flight simulator type shit, where you're like a fighter pilot simulator, where you're just like you can like look around and fly, and you can see out of your canopy and shit, and like
but I think there's a lot of games that people don't think would be good doing that I think would be good doing that.
Right.
Horror games would be phenomenal. Seriously, give me a controller, let me sit down, so that way I don't run. I probably won't run because I'm a tough man, but I'm not scared. But you know, there's a lot of people that who would like legitimately freak out, you know. And
it's more than just that, but a lot of the VR games seem more of like tech demos except for Half-Life Alyx. That was probably the only closest. But here's like, my true game.
But this is what I'm talking about, though, is that there's a lot of I'm not gonna lie, first person shooter games. I would love to play Hell Let Loose in VR.
Oh my
God! I'm just saying, it'd be amazing.
Be stressful.
It'd be amazing.
Be stressful.
It's already stressful. But the thing is, though, is that, you know, there's a lot of those games, and there are some games, you're right, that just won't be compatible. I'm sorry. Playing something like Crash Bandicoot or, you know, Spyro, Mario is just not going to fucking happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there are some games that are like VR is better with it.
No, 100%. But like, I think it'll be like an option. Like, I think it'll be like an option for some games, and it might even eventually, kind of like what the Xbox Kinect did, come as an option with like consoles, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, this game is, you know, is VR compatible. You can play it just on your TV, or you can play it on your, you know, Xbox, PlayStation branded headset that just, you know, goes on. It's not that big anymore. You can play with a controller. You can play with the motion stuff. Because I'm not going to lie, I really want to play VR games just with fucking controllers. I don't need this motion control shit. Like, I just want to have it on my face, be able to look around on my own, and play with the fucking controller. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. But the thing is, though, especially for games where, like, you're already in first person, like, come on. But anyway. But yeah, no, so my thing is, especially with this, is I don't think that VR is going to break away into its own new world, and it's going to be like its own thing. I think it's a valuable contribution to gaming, like I do, but I don't think it's going to be like its whole new own thing that's just going to be, you know, that's just going to be there for people. I'm just sorry, it's not.
Right. So one of the main ways it seems Zuckerberg and Meta hope consumers will use their VR headsets is within Horizon Worlds, the company's virtual reality software that uses avatars to attempt to digitally replicate in-person interactions. You may know Horizon Worlds from its most viral moment this past summer when Zuckerberg posted a selfie of his digital avatar standing in front of a very low texture rendition of the Eiffel Tower. Folks on the internet weren't shy about bashing the visuals, and we talked about that.
Damn.
Did you ever see that?
No, that looks like some shit that came off the Wii.
Yeah, someone says this looks like a 2002 Nintendo GameCube release called World Baby. Like World Baby. So this apparently led Meta to scramble as the New York Times reports employees worked to create a new higher quality version of Zuckerberg's avatar in an accelerated timeline. We then saw Mark Zuckerberg himself present the updated avatars during this week's Meta Connect event. If Meta's true goal with the Quest Pro is work productivity, then there's currently a big problem. According to a separate report from The Verge last week, it seems not even the teams within Meta directly working on the metaverse enjoy using the VR workspace. Ooh. Yeah, I know. So they expect
that hurts.
They expect everybody else to fucking just enjoy it, but they can't even get their own developers to enjoy it.
Well, it's not even about just their own developer. Like, I mean, we see this all the time with game developers anyway. Hey, why'd you make this game shitty? And a lot of developers like, we weren't given the time to like polish or fix up things or make it the way that we wanted it either.
Right.
Like,
so in a memo to employees from Meta's VP of Metaverse, Vishal San, the executive, wrote, "For many of us, we don't spend much time in Horizon, and our dog-fooding dashboards show us pretty clearly. Why is that? Why don't we love the product we've built so much that we use it all the time? The simple truth is we don't love it. How can we expect our users to love it?" Pretty crazy, isn't it?
damn.
And the New York Times report, multiple employees apparently rushed to buy their own VR headsets after management insisted they held meetings inside Meta's Horizon Workrooms app. So they were saying, we're going to start having meetings inside of this fucking VR world. Go get your headset. I don't have a headset. I got to go buy one. This suggests that if Meta has any serious hope of getting people to strap on a VR headset to go to work, there's some serious work to be done on the software side. Imagine, so they want people to work full days with a fucking VR headset on. Hell no.
Not going to happen.
No.
It's
not going to happen. The whole thing, the VR thing, I look at VR as a novelty. It's like a cool addition to making a different experience for something you enjoy doing.
Oh, definitely.
No one enjoys working. Why are you going to fucking get a VR headset to go to work? It was already bad enough people had to do shit virtually because of COVID, getting webcams and microphones and all that other extra shit, computers and all that, and extra monitors and shit just so they could work from home. Now you want them to go spend $1,500 on a fucking headset?
And then spend 8 hours a day in that?
No. People already have, in like majority of people that play VR have the same issue. It makes them sick to play. It makes them sick to use it. Why are you expecting people to want to work a full day in a VR headset? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So let's see. This suggests that if Meta has any serious hope of getting people strapped on, let's see. There's serious work to be done on the software side. This memo, coupled with the Meta's reporting hiring freeze and the potential layoffs, has apparently generated some enthusiasm for the metaverse from Meta's employees. According to the New York Times, more employees have started to have meetings in Horizon Workrooms when it works. Earlier this year, one notable meeting was hampered by technical issues. Oh, you don't say. Causing employees to redirect the meeting to Zoom, according to an employee that spoke to the New York Times. Privately, Zuckerberg was reportedly frustrated with the backlash of his avatar photo, and in a report from Reuters, the founder apparently said in the meeting, realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here, and that he'd be turning up the heat and raising expectations to introduce more aggressive goals. So no one likes your fucking platform because it sucks, but now you're saying, well, I guess people shouldn't be here then. There are people here that shouldn't be. It's like, you're not taking criticism.
At all.
At all. You're not taking anyone's criticism and feedback, especially your devs. Your devs hate this, but you expect us to like it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You fucking robot. So Meta is also facing criticism from within its VR industry. Former Oculus CTO John Carmack said in an interview that the level of Meta's $10 billion loss in the VR and AR department in 2021 made him sick to my stomach, thinking that much money had been spent. $10 billion were lost because of Meta.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, me too. So inside, I'm like, ooh, good. In a lecture, it's funny because everything's been pushing the metaverse thing. It's the same with the NFT thing. The NFTs are dying. I saw that Logan Paul
even like cryptocurrency is fucking dying. Like,
and it's funny because it's like, who saw that coming? Everyone. Like, we've only been talking about how NFTs are not the future, especially for gaming.
Well, I think it also really said a lot too for the NFTs because a lot of companies said, hey, people won't buy our products if we start doing this. And people.
Oh, speaking of NFTs, you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Ubisoft and their whole backtracking about the NFT thing, saying it was just
shit.
we're just experimenting.
No, we talked
As
about
if-
that. No, we talked about that. We did.
I think we talked about it in text.
No. Me and you talked about that here because we were bashed on them because they said, "Oh, well, no, guys, we were just dipping our toes in the water just to see about it." We were like, "No, bitch, you talked about
You pushed that hard.
going hard in the paint. Like, no, we're going to NFTs, whether you like it or not." And then you found out that you started losing a fuck ton of money, and then suddenly, oh, well, no, we didn't really mean it. Like,
And you know
get
what?
the fuck out of
We
here.
predicted that and honestly, not just us predicted this, but everybody
It
predicted.
was just us.
Everybody was predicting that the backlash from the gamer community
Yeah.
was going to prevail in this case.
Yeah,
and
definitely
it did.
in this scenario. Yeah,
And it did, because the NFT thing has been really
it started
scaled
being,
back.
It started being a domino effect. You started seeing a bunch of smaller companies who, like, legitimately could not afford to be like, hey, you know, we got to listen to our fans on this one. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
And then it turned into
And then
bigger
there's
companies.
Bigger companies and bigger companies and bigger companies were like, yeah, we're not doing NFTs. We see that this isn't going anywhere. We see that, you know, this doesn't have any traction. Nobody wants this. And, you know, we need to sell products that people want. And then it just started just tumbling down. And I was so happy.
Man,
to see
what
it.
a crazy business model. If you give people what they don't want, they won't buy it.
I know.
It's weird how
insane.
that
It's
works,
almost
right?
like Metaverse.
It's almost like Metaverse. So let's see. In a lecture within the Metaverse this week, Carmack said there's a bunch that I'm grumpy about when it comes to the Meta's VR hardware and software. Carmack said that his vision to exist in a virtual arena with thousands of avatars milling around, but the technology and number of users is just not high enough for that to be a reality right now.
Why would you want that? Why would you want an arena with thousands of avatars just milling around? For what? Doing what?
Exactly.
Oh
That's
my-
the thing. That's where this guy on Lex Friedman's podcast was saying they're focusing on its profitability versus its user experience.
Like, I can't imagine. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing in this arena milling around?
I don't know, dude.
Like, no one wants to do that. I'm sorry.
So, at least publicly, Zuckerberg isn't doubting his company's initiative to push hard for the metaverse, telling The Verge that they always expected the initial reaction to be negative, and that this first version of the Work VR device line is what we're shipping, and it's not going to be until later this decade. What? When we're on version 4 and 5, this stuff really starts to get fully matured. Yeah, providing that the fucking investors stick around that long.
Well, we've never seen fully mature VR.
Yeah, and it's been around for how long now?
I mean, to be fair, that's a little disingenuous. But what I'm saying though is that we've never seen fully mature VR. We've never seen, how about this? We're just now really seeing fully mature gaming for both PCs and consoles, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no weird hard gigs, apart from Nintendo because they're doing their own thing. I respect it, but they're in their own corner. But point is, though, is that everything now has reasonably good graphics that are pretty good. Unless you as a game developer fuck up, your game looks good, right?
Yeah. Speaking of, I want to talk about God of War in a second.
Okay. But,
Why you seem so disappointed by that?
because you always have bad news.
No, this is good news.
oh,
Well, it's a cross between good and bad.
Okay. But we're just now seeing hey, that PS5 over there. Yeah, it's a little big and a little bulky, but the load times are fucking solid on it. Same with PCs, especially that one.
Not so much that one.
Well, I'm just saying it's big.
It's massive because that's what she has. You know how many hard drives she has?
No.
6.
Why?
That's what she bought. That's how she bought it.
Okay. But point is that, these devices are not fully mature. They're getting smaller, they're getting more compact, and the ones that generally are bigger and newer on the market, like the new Xbox and the new PlayStations, are big, but they're very capable, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And these things are fully mature. We have a lot of new things like wireless stuff, adaptable things for memory, hard drives, for wireless headsets, for charging ports. We have accessories for them. They're fully mature. It's easy. I say easy, but relatively, for people who do that for a living, relatively easy for people to develop games for, even for now the Nintendo Switch, which good job, Nintendo. You didn't make it hard for people to make games for it. But like we've seen these things now fully mature, right? You look at the Xbox 360, there were still fucking problems, right? The graphics still weren't
To the point where Microsoft almost went under because of it.
yeah, but shame.
Shame.
But the thing is, though, is that we're seeing these technologies fully mature. You know what I mean? The graphics now look good, no matter what you're really talking about, right? I mean, if you look back, like, sure, people like me who are my age or your age can, look at old games and still enjoy the graphics for what they were. But we also do understand that, like, there was almost a little bit of imagination that went from us into the game to make it look better, right?
I know, because we remember games looking better than they were. Like GoldenEye.
Like GoldenEye.
We remember it looking better, and we play. We're like, how did we play that?
I didn't realize, like, I didn't realize that one of the guns is almost just a fucking triangle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like seriously, some of them look better than others, but like that's my point though. Like we were used to those, and even if you go up to like let's say like Halo 3, Gears of War 3, right? There's a lot of graphical errors in a lot of those games, right? You look at like the PS2 era, right? Some games looked really good, like especially like the cartoony ones where they can make it really colorful and help blend things and make it look nice, right? But you look at the things that tried to look real, and they look pretty bad, like by today's standards. But most of the things today are just getting polished up, or maybe they're adding more details, but like that's fine, but it still looks good overall, right? We're just now maturing on that front, and they're like, oh, well, VR will come along later in the decade. No, it probably won't. Will it get better?
Naturally, yes, it will get better. Will it be at the level they think it will be?
No,
fuck
it won't.
no.
But also, too, like you said, I just don't think that a lot of people are going to get into VR. I think it will be something that you can have on the side, something that can be supplementary to your typical way of gaming. But I don't think it's going to be its own standalone thing.
I don't either.
I can't wait till Nintendo gets a hold of their own VR system. They're just going to like run off with it in a totally different direction.
I don't know what they're going to do with it. So I want to real quick with God of War.
Yeah.
So a lot of reviewers have gotten their review codes.
Oh.
And without actually giving their full-fledged review, their thoughts on the game so far is that this game is most definitely going to be Game of the Year.
Really?
In fact, I think it will beat Elden Ring.
Wow. Okay.
Now, the other thing, which is bad, is...
So that's why Elden Ring's waiting till November to give out DLC, those crafty bastards.
Yeah. They're waiting because they know that if they give out DLC, because they're competing against God of War now.
Right.
The thing with God of War now is that, on the other hand, with these review codes, is that people that got them probably should not have got them because they are streaming it and spoiling it. Ooh. I have been seeing a fuck ton of Kratos versus Thor.
Yeah. Spoilers.
And I'm not saying them. So far, it sounds like the Thor versus Kratos fight is nuts.
I mean, it should be.
Allegedly, the fight is going to be an hour or more long.
Like the in-person, like the actual playing the game
fight? The fight itself is apparently very long.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we said previously, if there's anyone in the Norse pantheon, should only be two people. But if there's anyone who can like go toe to toe with Kratos, it should be Thor.
Well, Thor, it's funny because in the fight, Thor is fighting him and talking shit to him and basically saying, you mean to tell me that you killing my sons was just pure luck? He's like, I don't believe that. I want to see the real you.
I mean,
so he's like in the fight, he's antagonizing Kratos. He's like, show me who you really are. Show me who you really are. And I think that that's going to be like, fine. And then you see the true Kratos, like the one that dismantled the fucking Parthenon.
Yeah, the Greek pantheon.
Yeah, pantheon. I don't know why I call
Parthenon.
I'm sorry.
Good lord.
The one that destroyed the Greek pantheon and killed all the Titans. Like you're gonna see.
He didn't kill all of the Titans, but yeah.
Okay, he didn't kill all of them, but he killed Kronos. He killed
Gaia.
He killed them all, almost all of them, and he fucking destroyed all the Greek gods. He killed Zeus, the god of gods. So it was like Thor, as powerful as he really is, and then also you see that like Kratos can pick up the hammer.
Oh, really?
Not very well, but he can pick it up because it's still heavy.
Right,
right. And like obviously, unless you're worthy or whatever the fuck, and I think that's a Marvel thing. But like the fact that only Thor can wield the hammer, but it also showed like Kratos was able to like hold the hammer off from hitting him, or like kind of just like throwing it aside and shit. He can wield the hammer.
See, I don't know, like, from what I remember, in Norse mythology, the hammer doesn't have like the "you are worthy" thing, right?
No, it doesn't.
It's supposed to be stupid heavy. It would recall back to
It's
Thor.
made from the materials of a dying star.
Yes, and yes, he can call it back to his hand, right? You know, he can call it back, but there is no like enchantment saying that like no one else can pick it up.
Right.
That is very much a Marvel thing. Because actually, in Norse mythology, there was a huge thing about, at one point, the hammer was stolen. And Thor and Loki and a couple others had to go get it. You know what I mean? Mostly because Thor wanted it, and who's going to argue with him? But no one. But like I said, though, I'm excited for the fight because I actually really think, like, I do know that, like, yes, there's Kratos who, you know, dismantled a pantheon, but the Greeks were pussies. So, but if you look at like the mythology, there was no one in Greek mythology who was like Thor.
No, there was
Because
not. I mean, I
Thor-
guess you could say Zeus.
I mean, yeah, because
Zeus would probably be the
what
closest.
What I mean is because they're both lightning, but Zeus didn't do his own shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, Zeus was a lazy bitch who liked to fuck cows. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like
facts.
That's what he did. And every bit of power in Greek mythology that went to Zeus was given to him. Thor's just a fucking rock solid dude who was, hey, this is the defender of the gods. You know, if you're going to fuck with people, you know, Midgard, or if you're going to fuck with the gods, you got to fuck with Thor. And not a lot of people.
You got to think he also drank an entire sea almost.
Yeah,
before he realized he was drinking the sea.
Right. I think the funniest part about that is the fact that you didn't know that you're picking up Jormungandr made a lot of sense. The fact that you almost beat old age and entropy is terrifying. You didn't notice that mead was seawater?
Yeah, that was. I was like, it's me. Like, how did the mead?
The other
then
ones,
again, it was Loki that made him believe that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. I thought it was
because Loki was part of the challenge. Loki actually was competing with them.
Oh yeah.
It was actually one of the frost giants who was testing out their power. He told them about it. And
Is it not outside the realm of possibility that giant actually made the seawater turn to mead through the horn that he was drinking?
I don't know. All I know is that because it doesn't say that he augmented the taste. It just said, "Oh no, this was connected to the sea," and he dropped the sea by like many feet
until he realized that he was drinking the sea.
No, he didn't. He just finally got full and was like, "Why can't I drink this horn? It's not that big." You know what I mean? And the frost giant was like, "Hey, can you please leave my kingdom? Because I'm a little terrified."
You just dropped the sea level by a large margin.
You pulled up Jormungandr off the ocean floor. You almost beat entropy as a concept. Like, that's scary.
Entropy was old age, isn't it?
Yeah, old age, like degradation. So he was asked to wrestle a handmaiden, like one of their old handmaidens, and he almost beat her, but she ended up winning in the end. But she wasn't just an old handmaiden. It was like essentially the concept of entropy, old age, degradation, you know, the decay of the universe, you know, kind of concept. And he almost won. And the fact that that was able to happen, you know, him almost coming on top is actually a very terrifying concept. That's essentially saying that, you know, you could take this many ways, but that's essentially saying that Thor can only die very specifically. And that's probably Ragnarok. You know what I mean? And it has to be Jormungandr. You know what I mean? Thor won't get old and die, essentially. You know what I mean?
It has to be
something specific. Or at least that's my interpretation of it. But like,
yeah, it could be translated in any other way.
But yeah, so that's why I'm like, if there's anyone who can fucking take Kratos, and I'm not saying that Thor's gonna kill Kratos. I'm not saying that, you know, whatever. But I am saying, like, I do see a good plot point for them not just handing Kratos the victory. You know what I mean?
I would imagine that would be the case where it's like Thor beats the brakes off Kratos, but Kratos gets for the first time. And then Kratos is like, fine, you want it? Here it is.
And I can even see like, and so I haven't had any of these spoilers or anything, so I don't know. But
beware of TikTok. They're on there.
But I could also definitely see them saying, hey, even if Kratos gets the dub, he doesn't kill Thor, but he makes Thor to a point where he's beatable by the Jormungandr, because that's still the story. Like,
Yeah, Jormungandr. Like I
supposed-
can't imagine that because when I played God of War again, there are
some differences.
the way that they've implemented the differences from the Norse mythology leading up to Ragnarok are very similar. It's basically saying that like Kratos set this in motion.
Yeah.
But the ways that Ragnarok are supposed to be set in motion were just different in Norse mythology, whereas in the game, it's actually Kratos that set these in motion. They're actually going how it happens in mythology.
Yeah.
But
there are some differences.
There's
like,
it's differences in enough where it's like it is the same, but there's a small piece of context that says Kratos is why this is happening.
right. But like I said, it's still kind of the idea that like Magni and Modi weren't supposed to fucking die in Ragnarok.
No, they weren't. That's what I also
They're
was
like,
like. I was like
they're like one of like I want to say 4 or 5 total beings that make it out, and like
I think Loki lives.
I don't know if he does.
I think he does. He just dies of old age.
Magni and Modi make it out.
Magni and Modi make it out. In fact, I think they inherit the hammer after he gets out.
Yes.
And then you got Vidar, who's the god of vengeance,
And
who kills Fenrir, and he lives.
And technically Balder too.
Balder does too.
Yeah, because
so you have 3 gods. You have 3 gods in the first God of and God of War that die, but in actual Norse mythology, those 3 gods are like supposed to be the few that don't.
Yeah, it's weird.
And in fact, the whole thing where Balder's death is why Ragnarok happens isn't true.
Well, I mean, you mean in mythology or like?
Yeah, in mythology, where Balder. Oh, it's Balder that survives and dies of old age.
Oh yeah, so Balder.
Not-
Balder gets killed initially, but when Ragnarok starts, so I'm just gonna say when Ragnarok starts, all bonds are broken, right? That's why Fenrir comes off the mountain. That's why that's why deities and dead people are able to go fight, right? So Balder comes back after Ragnarok, and he doesn't die in the fighting of Ragnarok, and that's why he's alive at the end.
Okay, so
That's
it could be in the second game, like he comes back during Ragnarok,
and it could be, you know what I mean, during the end war, it could definitely be where he comes back, but like, I'm just saying, like in Norse mythology, he technically makes it through, you know what I mean, even though now he's dead, and I don't.
Tyr dies too.
Yeah, Tyr dies, and
I think Fenrir eats him, doesn't he?
No, Fenrir eats Odin.
Yeah,
because
eats Odin.
Tyr was like the only friend to Fenrir.
That's true.
And so I couldn't imagine, like,
I forgot how Tyr dies.
I don't remember offhand. It's so hard.
Anyway, we can go on this Norse mythology tangent forever.
But point being, though, is that talking about God of War is that they've even mentioned that, like, Thor is destined to fight Jormungandr again, or that he's destined to fight Jormungandr in the future. So
there's been a lot of theories that Jormungandr's Kratos.
Right, but those are also fan theories. And
but there's also some weird similarities between Jormungandr and Kratos' appearance in the game.
I don't know.
If you look, like the way that the seaweed comes off as a beard, like you got the red on one eye and shit. Like the red pattern around the eyes is very close to Kratos.
Right.
And then how Jormungandr claims that he knows who Kratos is.
I mean, to be fair,
he's met before or something like that.
To be fair, like so did what's his name?
Mimir?
Yeah.
Mimir had only heard of the Ghost of Sparta. He didn't realize it was Kratos.
Yes, but he also knew Athena. That's Greek. You're Greek. Like, he knows a lot of things. So someone who's as old and as, vast as Jormungandr, I could also see him being like, hey, yeah, no, I know about you. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's not just like some like random.
I think in the game, like if I remember right, it says Jormungandr tells because obviously Atreus speaks giant. Jormungandr says that like they've met before.
I don't know.
And then, but Kratos is like, when?
When?
When did that happen?
But that's my thing though, is that I can't see Thor. I can't see Thor dying in this battle. And again, I could be wrong, but I can't see Thor dying in this battle with Kratos, like outright just dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it's gonna have to be, you know what I mean? Like even if he loses, he's like wounded, and that makes him now weak enough to where Jormungandr can just fucking kill him, right?
You know, the devs were also saying they were considering making Ragnarok a 2-game experience instead of just one.
I mean, if you do it right, I don't care.
I don't, but they decided not to do that. They decided to put it all in one.
Sad.
Well, I think they wanted to make it a long, because the game itself is going to take over 40 hours to complete.
Whew. Again, I'm okay. Like, if you make a long game, if you make it good,
The
I'm okay.
story, if the story is there, like God of War story, it's a long game, but the story was enough to keep you wanting to keep playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's enough where it's like, it's a long game in a sense where it's like you don't want the story to stop. You want it to keep going.
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
more. You want more. You crave more of that story because of like how well it's written.
Oh yeah, then it totally fine. Like, it's okay. You know, what I mean?
There's like a really good. There's like a really talent. There's a really big like a really talented writer. It takes a really talented writer to write a game story to where the longevity of the game being so long that it doesn't feel long.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you longing for more.
Right, if it makes you want to keep playing it. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I know. I just wish the spoilers would stop because the game doesn't come out for almost another month.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please don't spoil
Please,
it.
please stop.
Please stop. I don't even have access to this game yet. So
All right.
PS5 being jailbroken using an exploit. Hackers have been circling the PS5 for almost a year now, and it appears they may have finally managed to jailbreak the 2020 hardware with a new kernel-level exploit first discovered on the PS4. While it doesn't allow access to execute certain types of code, the exploit has made it possible for at least one person to reportedly run Kojima's Silent Hill demo, PT, on their PS5, and will likely have massive implications that more people will explore the jailbreak. Now, here's the thing I have to say about this. Do you remember... And I only just remembered this because it was in actually one of my IT and business homework assignments, was discussing a case study of Sony's security hack that shut down the PlayStation Network for a month. You remember that?
No.
2011?
No.
In 2011, the PlayStation Network was down for a month. Yeah, I know. And it was because Anonymous, the hacktivist group, somebody had jailbroken a PS4. Or a PS3.
Yeah.
Somebody had jailbroken the PS3. And because that happened, Sony prosecuted that hacker.
Mm-hmm.
And all they did was just jailbreak their PS3. That's it. And Anonymous, actually what they did was they ended up finding like a backdoor, like, you know, they were like doing a network security update, Sony was. And Anonymous actually had access to those keys, like the security keys, the security codes, to actually hack into their network. So they hacked into their network when this happened, and Anonymous only hacked them for 3 days, and they didn't take any personal information because they that's not what they wanted. They like wanted to just like hurt Sony.
Yeah.
And they only hacked for 3 days because when Sony shut down the PlayStation Network, they were like, "Well, we were just trying to affect Sony. We weren't trying to affect all the people that have accounts."
Right.
So they only hacked for 3 days, and it was very similar to how that started. Is this whole fucking jailbreaking thing? The jailbreaking thing is how that whole thing started.
Huh.
So I wonder if it's the same method. So, while it doesn't allow access to execute, I already said that.
Yeah.
So the PS5 IVP6 kernel exploit discovered by PlayStation hacking god Andy the Flow, Gwyn, last month has, yeah, I know, has now has a way to be implemented, as tweeted over the weekend by hacker SpecDev. It relies on a previously known Spectre Dev. It relies on a previously known vulnerability in WebKit, the PS5's browser technology, and works on PS5's running firmware 4.03 and possibly earlier versions as well. So the exploit works by having the PS5 access a web server housed on a local PC that contains Spectre Dev's implementation of the hack. It apparently works around 30% of the time, giving users access to console's debug mode, and thus letting them run software outside of what was originally intended by Sony. Here's a demonstration of the new exploit that was tweeted yesterday. I'm kind of curious of this.
Yeah.
Is there audio for that? No, there's no audio for that.
User's guide.
User's guide. Security can be confirmed. Certificate. Okay. Oh,
Is the anime girl part of it?
probably. So he's entering. So for those that are listening, he's entering in like the web key, essentially, and which version of that web key. So direct list of document. Let's see. Oh yeah, he set it up in developer mode. He set the whole fucking console in dev mode. Let's see. Something went wrong. Okay. All right. I really don't understand what the fuck I just watched. I just looked like that he got into the developer mode of the thing. So
Yeah,
the exploit
no,
gives us read, write access, but no execute. Reports console hacking blog wololo.net. This means no possibility to load and run binaries at the moment. Everything is constrained within the scope of the ROP chain. Current implementation does, however, enable debug settings. Even so, the early exploit was still enough to let Dark Souls archaeologist Lance McDonald install abandoned PS4 micro horror game PT, which isn't officially backwards compatible on the PS5.
Hold on a second. Dark Souls archaeologist.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Let's
I don't know what
see.
that means.
So
either.
this guy was actually able to install and run PT. Now, you can't get PT anymore on the PlayStation Network, but PlayStations that did have it, the PS4s that do have it,
still have it on.
You can still run it. You can still play it, but you can't get it anymore. So let's see. He actually goes through his game menu, and I think he finds PT in there.
Why are there? Oh, I was gonna say. I was like, why are there like 3 things of Elden Ring?
I don't know. Let's see. I want to see where he finds it. User's guide. Let's see. This is some boring shit. Security of the page can't be confirmed. Let's see. I'm wondering if he runs it. So he's running the debug mode. And where's it going? Debug settings. Let's see. Where does he find the game at? Workaround controller. Something went wrong. He's installing the package.
Package delivered.
Oh, this is the PT package. There it is. PT ready to play.
Huh.
Yeah, interesting.
Again, something a little boring to watch. I mean, it's neat because like cool, but like I don't know what I'm watching.
So he found it again on the PS5, reported it to Sony in January 2022. Narc. It seems like their patch somehow got reverted when doing the free BSD 9 and the free BSD 11 migration. He recently told Motherboard the Flow subsequently received a $10,000 bounty from Sony that the vulnerability be disclosed on the site hacker one on September 20th. So he got a 10 grand for that, huh?
I'm not gonna lie. I would also tell them for 10 grand.
Ever since, others in the PlayStation hacking community have been working on ways to exploit the vulnerability to jailbreak the disc-based PS5 and all digital counterpart. Console manufacturers try to keep their systems locked down. It's weird because, like, I don't understand why Sony is so hard-pressed to fucking not let you play PT anymore. You know?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so Silent Hill Townfall. Let's actually talk about this. So Silent Hill Townfall's announcement trailer has a secret message hidden inside of it. Now, I'm hoping this will discuss the actual announcement. Let's see. Oh, this is just all about the fucking hidden message. I want to know about the game that they just announced. Silent Hill announced. So Silent Hill 2 Remake release date, platforms, and latest news. So this was a few days ago. Silent Hill Remake release date, I already said that. After many years of speculation, it turns out Silent Hill 2 Remake is indeed real. And it was revealed during a recent transmission from Konami, where it was one of the many new Silent Hill projects announced for the future. So there's several Silent Hills coming. This was arguably the biggest announcement, however, given now believe the original Silent Hill 2 is a horror fans around the world. Still very early days in terms of development and announcements, but we do know a fair bit about Silent Hill 2 Remake. So it should be coming out when? What's the release window? It says release date, but it says right now the release date. Nothing has been said so far. Okay, so no news on the release date. There was a trailer. It's coming to all platforms from the looks of it. It is going to be coming to Xbox. Why is there a fucking massive ad there? But yeah, there's a new Silent Hill coming, and there's a remake coming too. That was some big news for that. Everybody had been speculating, like it said in the article, for a while that there was going to be a new Silent Hill game. There was a lot of rumors behind that.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what all's behind it or why.
Well, Konami is kind of like in a sink or swim kind of fucking mode right now because they haven't been making games. They've been leaning more towards the gambling shit and the pachinko games and everything. And everyone's been wondering, why the fuck have you guys not made like a full-fledged game? Like, you have IPs that you haven't touched in like a decade or more.
Mm-hmm.
You have Metal Gear.
Valve.
You have Silent Hill. Huh? Valve. Yeah. Well, I mean, Valve. To be fair, Valve has been doing more of like the game storefront type thing.
I know, but still.
Which would be nice for them to make a new game. However, it's you got Konami, who doesn't have other things like that going on.
Right. And it's like, how are you still in business?
Exactly. So, but it's nice to see that they're actually making a game again. I hope to Christ that they actually don't fuck this up.
My only real high hopes that I actually have a little bit of faith in is the remake, is because it's a little bit harder to fuck up the remake, right? So if you take something like Silent Hill 2, make it look pretty, it's really hard to fuck it up.
Yeah.
All the work's been done. You know what I mean? You literally just have to copy their homework. But like new ones, I don't know.
So we're going to talk about Gotham Knights now, because Gotham Knights, you wanted to give your buddy shit for this because he was waiting for this game.
I have multiple buddies who I'd like to give shit for this.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Especially with that announcement of the
and don't get me wrong, I want it to be good. Like I don't want it to be bad out of spite. Like, you know what I mean?
Nobody wants games to be bad out of spite. Like, we all hope that games would be good, but the thing is, the way that they do, like, you know, their business practices and all that shit and in game development, the things they focus on with their game it's like you're setting it up for failure. Stop doing that. So reviews for Warner Brothers' first Batman since 2015's Arkham Knight dropped today, and they are not reassuring. While few critics like Gotham Knights just fine, many are underwhelmed by its story, bored with its repetitive missions, report issues with the frame rate drops, which is funny because it's capped at 30. In other aspects of the game's performance, it sounds like the loot-centric multiplayer brawler is middling at best, with a major disappointment after such a long wait. Now, the biggest thing that people are saying is that the PC, you can change the frame rate. However, the performance is not that good.
So don't do it. Yeah,
it's the same with Arkham Knight. Like, Arkham Knight was so bad on PC because it was actually just straight broken, and even Rocksteady said that they couldn't fix it.
Well, that's sad because, to be honest, like, Arkham Knight was a good game.
It was a good game, but on PC it was so broken that you couldn't play it.
I wonder why.
It was just not optimized for PC.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's essentially what it was. So they took it off like Steam and shit, and you could only play it on console. So USA Today called Gotham Knights a content checklist, while Games Radar accused it of not knowing what it wants to be, which is, you know, essentially the RPG mechanics and shit. For all its potential, the game falls flat, reported NPR. IGN gave it a 5 out of 10, and GameSpot gave it a 4. Metacritic score currently sits at 69. Nice. With Digital Foundry's John Lineman tweeting that the game doesn't look nearly as good as Rocksteady's 7-year-old Arkham Knight. While some critics praise the story, the button mashing in between seems like a real chore, because it does. Like the fucking there's like, apparently they removed the fight counter, like the counter mechanics. I guess I don't know what that meant. I think it was like the fight, because you can do like combination counters.
So a lot of, and especially in the excuse me, in the Batman games, what counter was like, oh, someone's coming to hit you, right? So imagine like Assassin's Creed, like that counter, but it was a lot more fluid.
Yeah, it was.
And it made it look like you were just this unstoppable fucking boom, 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 you know, Batman, right? You know how like in the fucking cartoons, Batman's beating up this one dude, someone comes from behind him, catches the arm, throws him, beats him up, you know, like it made you feel like fucking Batman.
And they got rid of it.
And they got rid of it. That's what they mean by the counter mechanics.
Okay, so
at least that's what I'm assuming they mean.
I thought counter because I know you can do like a combination counter.
I really doubt that they got rid of that, and I doubt that that's something that people.
They did. I was
upset
watching
about.
gameplay. Like they got rid of like the counting your hit combo.
Huh? I don't know.
Like there's no counter anymore for that. So, but October 21st on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC, Warner Brothers Montreal's Gotham Knights follows Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood as they attempt to maintain order amid at the chaos after the terrorist plot by the Court of Owls kills Bruce Wayne.
Dun dun.
Hang on a second. The Court of Owls is not what killed Bruce Wayne. I thought this was going to be directly after Arkham Knight, and Bruce Wayne kills himself. All right, a bomb goes off on Wayne Manor. Batman is Bruce Wayne and is now dead. And this was supposed to, and they left that game with a very open ending, like with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like showing that Batman is back, but who is he? And then I thought this would be that, like the Court of Owls is now kind of like taking the mantle of like the big bad in the game, and now like the sidekicks are all teaming up. But this is sounding like the Court of Owls killed Bruce Wayne.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's the other thing that people were saying was like fighting the fucking the Falcons, which are like the part of the Court of Owls. The Court of Owls enemies are damn near impossible to fight. Because they can fucking outmaneuver and outfight you. And, like, basically you can't land hits on them until you stun them. And there's many of them like that.
No.
So it's like fighting is not fun.
Yeah.
Unlike Arkham games, which focused on the exploration, stealth puzzles, and Metroidvania-like arsenal of gadgets, Gotham Knights is primarily combat-focused, with players teaming up to grind out missions to progress the story to unlock better gear. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like the pivot to co-op mission grinding quite paid off. Is that it?
I guess.
That can't be it. I guess that is it. What? So Forbes says Gotham Knights may have the worst UI in a generation. Ooh, that's an interesting take. Oh my God! Why is
Prisma Cloud?
look at this ad that's going to cover the entire fucking article. So Gotham Knights debuted this week to middling poor reviews with a 69 Metascore, one of the worst reviewed major games of 2022. This side of Saints Row a reboot in Babylon's Fall, which, by the way, that game got fucking shut down to the point where GameStop is destroying copies because you can't. It's a live service game that is no longer being supported with a player base of literally 9 people, and it was such a bad game, and it was a live service game, and they had to shut down the live service, and it's only a live service game, so you can't play it. They ended support, so GameStop's like, we can't sell it, destroy it. GameStop is actually destroying copies of Overwatch 1 because you can't play it.
Yeah.
It's because you can only play Overwatch 2.
That's shitty. But yeah.
So GameStop is destroying copies of games. And then also, they were Babylon's Fall. They were giving away free copies of Babylon's Fall just kind of like as like a coaster.
Damn.
I know. So reviewers cite lackluster performance where the game can struggle even to hit 30 FPS in the next-gen console. So it's locked at 30 FPS, but if only it can get there, is what you're saying. I've actually heard of frame rates dropping to like 10. Yeah. Next-gen consoles or PC, and has overly grindy, repetitive structure. But the one thing stands out above the rest, at least from an outside perspective. This generally may be one of the worst UIs I've ever seen in the game, ever. And that's saying something. I have no idea exactly what happened with the user interface of Gotham Knights, but it absolutely feels like something that was more meant for a mobile game than a full release or a console PC. And this is the material. This is the fucking crafting materials I told you about.
They're not labeled. They're
not labeled. It just tells you. It just shows you a picture and how many of them you have. So when you're crafting, like you just see these and you're like, all right, I need whatever the fuck that is. And there's no real way to get them. It just randomly gives them to you.
So that's the laziest piece of shit I've ever seen.
So you don't know what material you're getting until you look, and it doesn't tell you how to get that material. It just randomly gives you the material. So you have to grind fights to get this material, and there's no specific way to get it. So the fonts are enormous and ugly. The icons are uninspired or bizarre. There are frequent yawning blank chasms. The game even handles chasms, whatever. The game even handles line breaks weirdly. I've generally never seen anything immediately off-putting before. UI is something rarely talked about in games, but it's a key element of all games. I agree with that. A bad user interface makes for a horrible experience.
You shouldn't notice it.
You shouldn't notice the user interface. Games like The Last of Us were well known for extremely minimal UI, while other games like MMOs have to balance between a ton of information and making it coherent. One of my favorite UIs in recent memory is actually Amazon's New World, which handles the burdens of MMO information delivery with grace. Gotham Knight is the polar opposite of that in every way. Fuck you. Trying to balance material hoarding, gear grinding, and skill tree unlocks within the world's ugliest menus. An actual gameplay UI isn't so bad because there isn't all of that much of one. So basically there isn't much of a UI when you're playing. It's the menu UI. But once you're inside those menus trying to do everything, yikes. So what is this one? So the poor UI is part of a growing conspiracy theory that Gotham Knights is actually a mobile game that was converted into a console PC release instead. Players cite the mobile-like UI and the inability of the game to pass 30 frames at any platform and the grindy nature of it, which seems suited for mobile. So that would it actually does kind of make sense. Like if the frame rate just doesn't seem to like match what your platform is capable of, and the game just seems to be like a very grindy game that seems live. So that's the thing that everyone's been saying. This seems like a live service game that just changed its mind at the end of development.
Yeah.
I'm really tired.
So am I. It's okay.
As bad as this is, I don't buy it. Granted, directions of games can shift, but the left turn from a mobile offering to a AAA console and PC release, I doubt it. I mean, with the way that the game looks, it would be hard to say that was mobile. I mean, I don't know. What I think happened here is that the game was originally planned to be more live servicey than it is, but with Marvel's Avengers being cautionary tale, because everyone's saying there's a lot here that reminds them of Avengers, and the fucking reception of that was not good.
Yeah.
So it looks more like that they just changed their mind.
Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still reading this.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of looks like shit.
It does look like shit. It's confusing. Like crafting and everything, it's all confusing. It tells you the rarity, the level it is, all the stats for it and shit. But you're like, but that's the other thing. Low level gear does better stat wise.
Fantastic.
Let's see. They opted out going that. Here's why you see a lot of grindy elements, but no actual microtransactions tied to any of these items. So they're grindy as fuck, but there's no microtransactions. So it's like, so it feels like that there should have been, but there's not.
I can at least respect the fact that there's not microtransactions.
Yeah, but they should have just delayed it and reworked that whole thing. And I think the UI is just a bad UI. I don't think it's something designed for mobile that would be ported over. I may be wrong. It's just that it seems exceedingly unlike no matter how it looks. Obviously, Gotham Knights has larger issues past the UI, but I don't underestimate how a single screenshot like one of these could turn someone off to a game entirely. I know that's what happened to me when I first saw it. So it's having a lot of like stability issues, graphical issues. Let's actually look at the world. So Arkham Knights.
You mean Gotham Knights?
Knights versus
Oh, gotcha.
Let's see. I want to see the comparison images. So someone actually compared like the city of Gotham in Arkham versus the city of Gotham in Gotham Knights. And it was very, very, very different. Like it was like a photo of Batman. And let's see. Okay, let's look at this. So here's the video. The right is Gotham Knight, the left is Arkham Knight. There is a significant amount of detail in Arkham Knight compared to Gotham Knight.
Is he crying yet? I want to make him cry.
Whoa, the fighting looks really weird in Gotham Knights. I'm just looking back and forth between them both, you know? Here's Red Hood. There's your city traversal with Red Hood, by the way.
That makes no sense.
No, it does not. Oh, and the other thing is that people were saying is like traversing is fucking ridiculous with this game. Like the mechanics for it were just not there. Where very often, like when you're trying to stealth take out somebody, you would fail a mission because it would not stealth take down. It would jump you to a fucking open area. So like traversing around was fucking ridiculous in the Gotham Knights. So, I mean, if you look just like in this screenshot, just stop right here. Like if you look like the detail of this game versus this game, there's so much more detail in this game. And this is in 2015, dude. This is 2022, 2015, 2022. There's just more there. I mean, granted, there aren't people walking around and shit, but that's because like the story of this is that there's a terrorist that shut down Gotham City.
I thought they were gonna kill me.
Oh, and that's the other thing. When you're driving around in a motorcycle as Nightwing, it's so slow. People are like, it looks like you're going the speed limit. I know, it's fucking crazy. I mean, like, look at this. Look at the detail and the fidelity and of all this versus this.
I need to interrogate the driver and find out what he knows.
It started with a meeting.
What meeting?
I don't know. There's a lot of detail in Arkham Knight that just Gotham Knights that just seems lacking.
I feel like that's the worst way to use that glider. Why is he using it like that?
I don't know, man. I didn't make the game. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about Amouranth, kids. I know a lot of the incel world fucking really gave me shit about my take on this. Really gave me shit. They were just like, the OnlyFans model mocking Amouranth. I'm tied up until my handler tells if I do anything different, he gets mad at me. All right, let's see. Amouranth abuse. I want to show you guys this. This is the one I've been wanting to show you. All right, so let's see. Alleges abuse from her husband. This is the New York Post. I want to find the video. Where did I find this? Actually, I could probably find it on YouTube. Amouranth abuse. I don't want someone's take on it. I want the actual video. Amouranth husband phone call. How about that one? Husband phone call. Yeah, okay, so this is the
Okay for you to tell me what I didn't say, especially if the context is literally I was waiting for a response. You were just calling me crazy then.
I didn't say you were crazy.
No. Dude, I'm gonna give you one last chance. I'm gonna irrevocably fucking destroy everything. I can tell you something that shatters you forever, and I'll start tweeting about it too.
But what? Why would you want to do that? I don't understand.
Because you are literally telling me I did not say something that I literally said.
That should be okay to let me.
You're just right here. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. You're about to lose your entire fucking life in terms of everything that's been built because you're too obstinate to just merely accept that you didn't hear a thing. But I'm already very forgiving about that.
Because you're
But no,
literally.
you want to go forward, you want to go aggressive, and you want to say, no,
So that was one, right? So let's actually show you the texts. Amouranth texts. So I'm going to read the texts to you here once I find them. So this is by Polygon. So Amouranth, Twitch star Amouranth says that husband forces her to stream, controls her finances. So popular Twitch streamer, OnlyFans content creator Amouranth said in an impassioned, tearful stream on Saturday that she has been manipulated and abused by her husband. Amouranth, whose real name is Caitlin Siragusa, interesting, said that her husband, who is not named, has forced her to stream, threatened to hurt her dogs, and has taken control of her finances and bank account. I'm basically living in a fancy prison, Amouranth said on live stream. Amouranth's stream has since been removed from Twitch, but clips have been shared widely on Twitter and YouTube. Is this the fucking... Let's see. Amouranth has revealed that she's his husband, along with revealing his abuse. He's threatened to kill her dogs, take all her money, and force her to stream. So let's see. During a live Twitch or live stream, Amouranth said that her husband saw the hot tub meta, a Twitch subgenre where people stream in bikinis in a hot tub, as an opportunity. That he told her to tell viewers that she was single because it would ruin the business model to reveal that she was married. Amouranth shared a close-up view of the phone, displaying a text thread that she said was between her and her husband, and depicted the messages called recipient a dumb fuck and included threats to dump luggage, throw merch off a balcony, and delete Amouranth's social media. More serious threats of financial abuse and threats to kill Amouranth's dog were also part of the text. Amouranth also shared footage of a broken doorknob, saying that her husband broke it, thus preventing her from being able to lock the door. It keeps you there with fear and threats that you fear he's going to do something with your animals, Amouranth said on stream, and then he's nice again and says everything is going to be okay. So let me find the text here. None of this shows the fucking text. Of course it doesn't. Why would it? I want to see the text. Show me the text messages. I want to see the text messages. How long is this video? No, it's the same one I just showed you. Maybe it's in... Maybe... Oh, you know, BuzzFeed actually might have it. Let me scroll down. Let me scroll down. That just shows one text. Fucking stupid. I wanted to see all the fucking texts. So this was her response. So she's calm after abuse and marriage. I want to find the text messages. How fucking hard is this? I was able to find this when I made that video. Text from husband. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are listening to this, and you're like, can you fucking get to the point? I'm like, I'm trying.
Listen,
I'm really trying.
We already listened to you not being able to read. All right, it's fine.
You guys will never let that go.
You keep bringing it up. I
didn't say it. I didn't say any of it.
You keep not being able to read.
Let's see. Maybe Games Rant had it. Games Rant usually has it all. Hey, no, I gotta fucking...
Oh, there.
It's like, next time when I say plan, do it. Dumb fuck.
All right, so next time I'm going to say a plan, do it, dumb fuck. Do you understand? What plan are you talking about? Fuck you, get the fuck outside. I'm calling you. I can't talk now. We are...
Do you understand like what plan you're talking about? It's like, fuck this, I'm calling you. So I just say I can't, and then tell them I can't talk right now. We're getting... You get the call now.
Get the call now. Last chance. I'm about to dump your luggage. I'm throwing your stupid merch off the balcony. Proceeding to ditch your stuff. You don't need the makeup or the live view or the clothes guy. Deleting social media in 1 hour or 1 month or / minutes because you could see like all this. He's frantically texting her.
Yeah.
Like hot texting her. Deleting social media in 1 minute. Buying options and expire and blasting the cash. I'm about to shut down the real work bank account too. Just an instant give it.
It's about to dump your luggage. Hotel room. But throwing your
lag is terrible. The stream is garbage. Let's see. What else does he say? Lag is terrible. Stream is garbage. Come on, Amouranth. Fucking scroll. Okay. I'm about to delete Tweeter in 30 seconds. If no call, 34,000 gone. Going to donate 250K to Diplomacy in the next 2 minutes. 250K gone. I will donate 500K in 3 minutes. If no call in 1 minute, I will absolutely make sure Kieran goes to the meatpacking house, which is her dog. 20 seconds, time's up, 750K gone. We can now not put a down payment for the Cali house. Another 250K in 5 minutes. I'm about to tweet about you swatting me. That's a new one. I didn't read about that one.
It literally died. Gonna 250.
And that was the text that she got from him before he made that phone call to her.
I'm gonna leave you with 1 million, and I'm gonna take the rest because I worked harder than you. It's like, and if you don't agree, then I'm gonna burn it all in court. I'm gonna put it all in fucking crypto. Blah. Just always threats, always threats. All the fucking accounts are like two-factor under his number, and he has all like the login information of things. It's like keeps you there with the fear and the threats. And you fear that he's gonna do something to your animals, and then he's nice again and says everything's gonna be okay.
Now, based off of your experience with someone that's gone through abuse, do you think she's lying?
I mean, to be honest, especially with like a lot of mental health, it's impossible to tell until you get into a lot of details.
So allegedly the cops were involved after this.
Oh, I mean, that's fine, but from where we're sitting, there's no way to fucking be like, oh yeah, no, we can 1,000% trust no matter what all the time.
That is true. That is true.
And, you know, because unfortunately there's so many things, and I know a lot of people are like, because I mean, do I personally believe her? I think so. She's not gaining anything from this.
No, she's not.
Because especially when you're already a sexualized, you know, content creator, like, you know, her getting her tits out is her publicity. She doesn't need to do some scandal to get out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and that was the other thing that I was saying. Like, okay, so, but she's very like popular on the platform.
Yeah,
she's got a very strong following. She's not losing money. She's actually got a lot of money coming in from everything that she does and the investments that she's made. Apparently, allegedly. I mean, I'm not sure if it was her or him, because like the crypto thing and another thing with her owning a gas station. She owns a gas station that she spent like $4 million on.
Oh,
and it's like, why? Why does she need a gas station? But it's weird. And me and Alicia have actually had an extensive conversation about this, where it's like, okay, on one hand, we don't know the full story. We just know her side of the story.
Yeah.
And, you know, and her side of the story does look very convincing that she is a victim of abuse. And I'm not saying that she's not. I firmly believe that she is.
Yeah, I'm in the camp where I definitely believe her, because she doesn't have anything to gain from this.
Yeah, there's
like,
nothing to gain.
There's nothing that she's like, yeah, this is going to put me on the map.
And
like, no, this isn't helping her.
And the
like,
incel group is saying she's doing it for pity clout. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing. If you
don't need pity clout when you got titty clout. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like, it's very honest though. It'd be one thing if you had a content creator who was kind of popular, kind of not, and they were struggling and their things were going down, and then suddenly this came up after they've been struggling trying to find content that people like. I'd be like, you know what? This person does have something that they could gain from this. But in her position, that's not the case.
I think she aims more to lose than gain, because if
this point,
it's like this would be a very intricate, hard lie to sell and keep. Because on the other hand, on her husband's side, if this was like all staged, he has now ruined like his reputation in the eyes of the public.
Oh yeah.
Basically, from like now he will always be known as the guy that abuses Amouranth.
Yeah.
So why would he willingly do that? What does he stand to gain from that?
Well, some people are just fucking controlling and manipulative. Some people have things like BPD, which is, you know, borderline personality disorder, where like if it doesn't all go his way, or you're not always supportive, or any kind of like pushback.
Narcissists do the same thing.
Yeah, same thing with narcissists. But like, you know, and that could be something that he's having issues with. And I don't know how old Amouranth is, but
I think she's in her 20s. You know, Alicia's like, you know, her tits are fake. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I never could tell.
I mean, it's a little obvious.
So
for some of
the other thing is like, she stands to lose in the sense that like holding on to this lie and keeping it like a lie, eventually things like that do come to light.
Yeah.
And then if anything, she could potentially destroy her career if it ever came out like she faked that.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you fake that? It doesn't make sense to fake it, because you would like your career. Obviously the simps would still fucking simp, but all the other content creators that are in support of you and that are in like your endorsements and stuff, you could lose endorsements because it's like you faked abuse to get fucking clout.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and granted, I don't know how smart Amouranth actually is, because people's online personalities are so different.
People online are drastically different,
you know
than what they are in real life.
But like, it's just the idea. Like, you know, I mean, she's young. She's probably fucking stupid in some regards. I'm not saying she's not intelligent.
No, she's young. She's young and naive.
Exactly. And so she could have easily gotten herself into a marriage, thought, hey, this will be totally fine. And maybe even he didn't even have symptoms at the time.
Or like these kinds of, this personality of his didn't come to light until she became popular.
Well, there's also a lot of people though too with a lot of like mental health disorders. Like a lot of them either come out with trauma. Some people do have them their entire lives, and some of them don't develop until you're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
So this guy that she married, maybe he actually was a good dude and needs help. You know what I mean?
She did. I'll show you the response video, the one that it was a couple days after this, and it's crazy because she's wearing like a long sleeve shirt and no makeup. She looks exhausted, like physically, like her eyes are sleepy, and she's like a very like slow, mellow talk and stuff. And she's like, I slept a lot for the first time in like years. Hang on, what's this?
The therapist even told him that it's a form of like psychological abuse, and that I'm basically living in a fancy prison. And then he was changed for a bit, and then the hot tub meta arose, and he was like, oh, this is an opportunity. And then he turned into an asshole again when I agreed to commit to the grind because it was a good financial opportunity for us. I've been wanting to tell people that, like, let's just stream together. Just tell them that we're fucking married, because it's like our relationship would be better if we just stream them, and it's fighting all the time. But no, Mister, don't say that because it's gonna ruin the business model. It's not time yet. Fuck yourself. I'm done with it. I'm not gonna fuck you anymore. You want me to tell them I'm single? It's about to be true. Piece of shit.
Now, here's the other thing by watching, like, you know, just like my interpretation of her emotions and the way that she's speaking. None of that seems staged.
It doesn't seem staged. But like I said,
it's hard. It's really hard to like.
So when it comes to this stuff, you never want to speak in like definitives. Obviously, when you're engaging a patient, it's a little different because obviously you take everything seriously, right? And I always tell people there's a difference between taking something seriously and just straight up believing them. Yes, I'm coming after all the feminazis. Go fuck yourself. No, you don't just straight up believe everybody with everything they say. You take stuff seriously because you know, don't be a dick. You know what I mean? Listen to somebody. Listen to what's going on. Listen to their story. Listen to their symptoms. But you can't say anything's definitive, right? When I see patients, they may tell me that they have a past history, or maybe they don't have a past history. Patients lie. People lie. It's just human nature. I'm sorry.
It is.
You can try to say, oh, she's a really cute, big-titted woman who's crying. Of course, we should believe her. And I do believe her at this point because I don't see any reason
to not.
Like, there's no, like, I don't see a purpose behind her, saying like, oh, all this stuff is going on. I'm an emotional wreck. I'm not sleeping. Here's all these things that have happened. Here's what's going on. The stories seem to match up. She seems to be an accurate historian. She's not like, she has some form of privacy, which she's entitled to. And I get that. But like, like, I don't see a reason why she would do this. This is hurting her business. This is hurting what she's been doing. And she was already popular. Like we said, like she's already popular. So it's not like, oh, well, it'll help the business if I fake this, no. But like you take everything seriously, you listen to their symptoms, and you have to see if they're an accurate historian. Are they recounting things properly, right? When I see patients, yes, they may tell me that they have this or that they have this. And if I look in your record and you don't have it, then yeah, hey, I'm going to be telling the doctor, hey, patient lied about this, or patient was dishonest about this, or patient didn't remember this. You know what I mean? I actually had a patient not that long ago who told me that, yeah, she had a history of depression, but no hospitalizations, no inpatient stays. She'd been in the hospital 7 fucking times that year. And she fucking straight up lied about it to try to stay in, which is fine. I get it. She's trying to stay in. It's not fine because she's out of the Navy now. But, but that's my point though, is that patients and people are not always honest. So when people are like, oh, is there a way to tell if she's being honest? I was like, you just have to develop it over time. You got to see, is there anything she stands to gain? Is she spiteful? Is she just emotional? Right? It's like, Now,
the other thing that you have to also gauge is like her actions after.
I mean, to a point.
So, like, to determine whether or not this is, like, true or not. So, like, one of the things that you should gauge after is, like, the events after. So, like, her content that she made after, she did, like, 2 streams. One was her, update on the whole thing. And another one was just her hanging out at the horse barn, just, like, taking care of her horses and tending to them and stuff. And that was it. Then she even said, I don't have a sub goal. I don't want a sub goal. And then after that, she said she's taking an indefinite break from Twitch. So... And then also content making for like OnlyFans and stuff. She's taking a break from that. Even though there was a little bit of some, questions behind that whole OnlyFans thing because her Twitter and stuff and her OnlyFans was still posting. But it wasn't posting content. It was posting, ads for its content. Like basically like saying, hey, check out this video that's coming out. And it's just like, She even said that, you know, there's a difference between doing things because you're being forced to and then doing things with your own volition. And she even, and then the other thing is, like, people don't seem to understand the fact that a lot of this content is on a schedule, and I'm not posting it. So let's actually look at her response. And obviously this is Kotaku, so take it with a grain of salt. So this is what she looked like on her update stream, wearing like kind of like a sweatshirt and stuff, and says, I want to talk to you guys about the situation. Addressing the events from that night. She said, thank you everyone who's been super kind and supportive lately. Over the past few days, I've had lots of people reach out, show concern. It means a lot. Explaining she hasn't been online since due to everything going on. As for the husband situation, as some of you probably saw the other night, he called me during the stream. I disappeared for like 2 hours. Then I finally unmuted about an hour and a half into the call, and I apologize if that was hard to watch people. I don't really know what else to do. She says that's actually the first time he's ever heard himself recording. Well, you know, I want to kind of go to the video about that, because here I am when I see this. I immediately think of like she's being apologetic with what he did. Let me try to find the fucking video. I think, yeah, this is it.
Sorry for if I triggered anybody with past abuse. Anyway, so that happened. That was actually the first time that he's ever heard himself on a recording, because as I told you guys before, previously when I recorded him, he would just like refuse to listen to recordings. Sometimes.
She seems exhausted. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing she says that he wouldn't listen to himself before. He would often take her phone from her and shit and delete it because he didn't want to listen to it.
Like take phones, etc., so he would never actually hear them. And I think that when he heard himself on that call, it really sunk in how much of an asshole he is. So you never fucking realized, idiot. Anyways. So as of today, though, I have access to all of my accounts and finances again. He's not here. He's getting help. And I'm seeking legal and emotional counsel.
So people are wondering what the legal counsel is. People are speculating that it's divorce or finance related.
So one, it has to be. One, I will openly say it. She's a fucking idiot. If this is all true and that stuff really happened.
She's naive to believe that he's getting help.
No, she's an idiot for not saying, hey, don't get me wrong. I think he's an asshole, but good on him for going to get psychological help. Like, if he actually is, right? Of course, we're all going on assumptions here, but like, she is an idiot. I'm sorry, you do not get held at gunpoint. Oh, hey, I'll kill your dog. We'll lose all our fucking finances. I'll delete all your shit, everything you've ever done, and then be like, he saw he was an asshole and he went and got help. We're staying together.
So here's the thing.
Sorry, no.
So when you look at like the way when you look at how abuse goes, it's like a cycle of things, right? And it's a cycle that tends to repeat itself over and over again. So it is literally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing.
This is her opportunity. Hey, you have access to all your stuff.
Leave.
Get
out of the situation.
I'm sorry. And I know that there are people out there who are like, oh, well, it's really hard for people to leave. And I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying it's not an awful process. And it is usually very draining. It's an awful process. And my heart goes out to anyone going through it. But it doesn't mean that you're not being fucking dumb for not. You know, I'm sorry. I know people don't like, oh, well, I don't want to insult, you know, your mom, your sister, your friend, you know, whoever is going through that. You know, and again, I'm not saying that what they're doing isn't hard, and I'm not saying that it's not difficult, because obviously it wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't difficult. You know what I mean? But you're still being dumb for doing that, right? Hell, getting off heroin is hard, but I'd still call you a fucking moron for doing it.
Because you started it.
Because you started it, right? Now, this is still different than, like, you know, you didn't start an abusive relationship.
It just worked its way to that.
Right, and you continuously ignore red flags, and I understand that a lot of people don't notice it, but when you do wake up and realize, yeah, this is a problem, that's when you definitely need to fucking leave.
Now, the other thing is, we only have her side of this.
Well, what we said before really kind of comes out about it, though. I'm not gonna lie, like, if Keisha started doing like Twitch and started saying, oh, you know, my boyfriend, he abuses me, he controls all my shit, and if I had proof saying otherwise,
I'd be really trying.
I'd be up in there and be like, so I'm gonna raise you. Here's the proof, here's the text, here's everything showing that I'm not doing this. Like,
or if
at
it was
all.
on the flip side where actually like she was gaslighting him to be this way.
Oh yeah, then yeah, I would put every bit of proof out there, because it's only going to take so long, especially with newses and stuff like this for people who are like this. It will be put everywhere, especially if you have proof. It will be put everywhere. Hey, you know, Amouranth is faking this. Her husband has legitimate receipts showing that he's not doing any of this, showing proof that he's not doing any of this. Like, and it would ruin her for that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, but it's a little different. Now, don't get me wrong. The only thing that I find suspicious, again, I still believe her at this point, because again, she's not gaining anything from it.
Right.
Was, oh, you're telling me your husband who threatened to do all this stuff? And granted, I'm assuming that he's, because it's a spectrum of abuse, all right? It's not just saying you're not just abusive, and that means that you beat the shit out of your wife every day, right? That's not necessarily what that means, right? You can be psychologically abusive. You could be other abusive, you know what I mean? These people, some of them, like maybe her husband, maybe he really does just need help. I'm not saying that she should stay with him, but maybe he really does just need personal help. Like maybe that is something.
It's a lot like mine and Stephanie's relationship, where both of us needed help, especially her. And we both refused. Well, I didn't refuse. I wanted to. I just didn't have the resources to do it.
Right.
Now that I'm in the VA, I can. But she refused because she's like, I can't afford that. And she obviously made excuses. I'm like, well, you don't have to always go. You pay per session, and it can be like maybe $150 to do that. Do it. And I even like suggested like you would benefit from doing that, and it would help the relationship for you doing that, because she was thinking couples therapy off the rip. And I'm like, no, individual therapy, then couples therapy. Figure your own shit out. I figure my own shit out, and then we come together and figure each other's shit out.
Right, right.
I honestly firmly believe that doing the couples therapy before individual therapy is not going to help anything.
I'll be very honest with you. Couples therapy doesn't work.
I think it would only it doesn't. I think if you have
the reason why is because most people who go to couples therapy don't want to be there.
I know.
But
there are cases of people that do want to be there, and I think where benefits with people with for couples therapy is like learning communication skills with each other.
Oh yeah, if you both want to be there and you both are really trying to work on it, yeah, there's a good chance that you guys will come away better for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But people that don't, that if it's like a toxic relationship, like my last one was,
well, people just have to understand too. You have to accept when you're really like there is a certain amount of you have to accept when your relationship is over.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is some things like that where like you have to come to, you know, to terms with like, hey, are you with this person because you're just used to them being around?
That was me.
You know what I mean? Or are you with this person because you want to be with this person, right? You know, that's the hard part. That's the part that I think a lot of people don't know. It's like, you know, a lot of sexless marriages. I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, sex isn't everything. Sex is a big part of a relationship. I'm sorry. Like,
it's more of a thing than people realize.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's everything. I'm not saying that, you know, that you're entitled to things, but I'm not going to lie, for every dude and every woman out there who thinks that withholding sex or that my partner shouldn't expect me to have sex with them. You're right. I'm not saying that you should walk into the room.
Fuck me now.
And just be able to be like, I'm bending over my wife and I'll fuck her whenever the fuck I please. That's aggressive and that's a problem.
Yeah.
But also too, ladies, if you think that your husband isn't entitled to be able to have sex with his wife at some point.
It's the other way around too.
No, and it is. But like, congratulations. Your divorce paperwork will be there in a few years when they're finally fed up with it.
Or they cheat on you.
Because congratulations, you've now made them a roommate with, you know,
with benefits.
With benefits. That's it. You know what I mean? They're literally a roommate who's not fucking you
and
who you're married
Stephanie used to say that to me. She's like, I feel like we're roommates and not a couple. And I'm like, well, and more so during COVID, because it was like we were locked down, we could do shit.
Yeah.
And I tried explaining in that relationship, like, listen, nobody can do anything. We're kind of in a situation where, you know, it's not going to be like this forever, but, you know,
you have to get through it.
But you got to get through it. It's like there's a struggle you got to get through. But the thing is, in that relationship, I wasn't recognizing was there was emotional abuse in my relationship.
Yeah.
On my end, like towards me, that I didn't recognize was that just like the things that were being said, and it would cause me to react. And she knew which buttons to press, and she would press them all the time.
Oh yeah, and
then
hard.
she would do it in front of people so that to incite a reaction in front of people. Like I very vividly remember I tried doing one of these podcast episodes during COVID. We tried doing it remotely for the first time. And they were upstairs. She had her friend over, my brother, because he was living here. So she had like one or two of her friends over. They were blasting music and stomping around and shit. And I'm like trying to record and you can hear it. And I went up there twice. Said, guys, can you please keep it down? I'm trying to record. And they're like, okay. But they didn't respect that. They were just like, that's stupid. Who cares? And they kept doing it. And when I'm like, guys, I'm asking nicely, please turn it down and stop doing that. And they're like, what are we supposed to do? Just sit here? I'm like, no, but you don't have to be obnoxious. I'm like, this house carries sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kept going. And I walked up. I'm like, so fuck me, right? I went upstairs. I'm like, so fuck me, right? Like, fuck what I'm doing. No respect for what I want, what I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get something done here. So fuck me, right? And I was pissed. I was fucking heated. Could I have gone about it differently? Yeah. My brother even said that. He's like, you could have done that differently. I'm like, dude, I asked nicely twice. And it was just like, everyone was like, fuck what Brock says. We're going to do it anyway. And then it set me off. And it did. Because I was just like, you guys don't have any fucking respect.
I'm not gonna lie. Your brother there is fucking wrong. I'm sorry. Like,
he was.
No, you could have gone about it however way you fucking wanted to.
But he lived here during our relationship.
I don't care.
So he saw both sides. And, and he even said that, like, you guys really shouldn't be together. You guys push each other's buttons badly, in the bad way. So it would be shit like that, and she'd be like, oh, but I don't understand where this is coming from. I'm like, I literally asked, she's like, you never said that. I'm like, I did twice, fucking, but you don't listen to me. And like, but the thing is, she also didn't have any respect for me to begin with, because when I was overseas, she went on a trip with one of her guy friends after I said, I'm not comfortable with that. And she straight up said, I don't care what you think. I'm going to do it.
Oh.
And I was like, then I'm going to Slovenia to party. I didn't give a fuck. But anyway, the whole point is like, you know, an emotional abusive relationship, it's just like, it ends up becoming like you know, it's like you said, you got to recognize that it's over with before.
Oh yeah. And don't get me wrong, because like, it's one thing if like people are trying, because here's the thing. It's one thing if you have like a blow up moment and you're like, I'm pissed off, I'm upset. And you're like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm having a rough time. This is what's going on. Or how can we work on it? You know, like, I'm sorry. You can fucking tell when someone like has a moment and isn't trying to be a dick, right? Like, at least even afterwards. And I know there are people who are like, oh, well, they can act. I was like, yeah, they can act. But the difference is, though, is you're going to see people really struggling to work on what's going on. And you can make an assessment from there.
And I was struggling on like dealing with like, one of the big things was like, I have a hard time with time management, especially when it comes to things around the house.
Yeah.
And she would often be like, I don't know why you're like this. Why are you like this? I don't like that you're like this. I'm like, you think I like that I'm like this? I can't even figure out why I'm like this, and I don't know how to fix it. Well, then I don't know how to fix it either. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. And it was just shit like that. And where just like, I was made to feel bad about the way that, you know, my brain works and the way my time management works, when even I myself didn't understand why I was like that. And I also didn't have an understanding of why I felt emotions that I felt, especially when it came to like, why am I always so angry with like, you know, being like getting out of the military. Like my civilian life, I fucking was angry all the time. And it was just like one of those things where it was like, I have an adjustment disorder. Like I'm having a hard time adjusting to this life. And like, I also have moral injury where my mind can't rationalize things that are going on because I can't rationalize things that I can't control.
Yeah.
And it was things like that I didn't have an understanding about, but I tried explaining, I don't know why I'm like this. And then it would be like, well, you need to figure it out, because I don't know how long I can do this anymore, type thing. Whereas there was no, like, it was always like constantly being made to feel bad for
your shit. Yeah.
For my shit, when it's like, I don't know why it's like this for me. And it was just like, then it turned into, I'm just not happy from her. And it's like, I'm not happy with you. Like, I'm not happy. And because I'm not happy, you can't, and you're not making me happy, then I don't want to be here. It's just like, I can't be the full fucking sole proprietor of your happiness.
Oh yeah, no, and that's another thing I think a lot of people fuck up too.
Where they depend on another person to make them happy.
They think that their partner, like, you're like, oh well, are you happy with your partner? And you think that partner means that that person's going to make you feel happy as a person all the time. It's one thing, because I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, I have some depression symptoms, but that doesn't mean that I'm like, yeah, me and Keisha aren't working out. I have depression. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, no. But also, too, like, when I am feeling good, sure, there are times where, it's awesome having her, and and I'm happy being around her or spending time with her. But, like, I have my own hobbies. You know what I mean? I have my own things that I do. Well, one, I do this. Keisha doesn't always come over with me when we do this. I have my own things that I do. Like, I play video games. I go work out. I like lifting, where she likes doing, like, more cardio. I have, like, the Warhammer stuff that I've been getting into. I have, a bunch of other things that I do for my enjoyment, and things that she does for her enjoyment.
And that was the biggest disconnect with my past relationship, was the fact that I had my own things that I enjoyed, and they weren't the same as hers, so she thought they were stupid, and she would say that.
I think people also have to understand that there's different levels of getting involved, right? When it comes to, like, getting involved in your partner's hobbies. Like, I tell Keisha, like, a lot of times I'll play games and she'll just sit in the room and relax, chill, watch videos, watch SpongeBob, or, fucking text or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's supportive.
That's for me too.
I like that, because you're still here. I want you here, but I don't want you in my ass the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Or, like, getting involved in my stuff doesn't always mean, like, oh, she needs to get down and play games with me, or that means that she needs to be, like, super involved with, like, everything that you do. No, a lot of times it's just like, I just need you to be around.
And that's why, like, me and Alicia have this setup here, is so that she can be over there watching Netflix and doing her graphic design thing, or playing whatever game she wants to be, but just being down here, or, like, even when I'm in class and then she's playing games, or she's working and I'm over here doing my own thing. It's like, just being there is a sign of is a way of supporting that person.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing too. Why, like, me and Keisha have, like, our own Switches and things like that. It's that way she can play, like, her own games and I can play mine, like, just simple things. Like I said, it's about being there. It's not about being in my shit the whole time. It's about just being there.
I like that me and Alicia don't have to go out to enjoy to have enjoyment in the relationship. Whereas with my previous relationship,
need to go out to, like, the bar.
We have to go to the bar. It has to be, we got to go play pool. We got to play darts. This is boring sitting at home, not doing anything. I want to go do things. I want to have a fire and bring people over and have parties. It's like, but I work at 4 a.m. Like, why the fuck do I don't want people over here and partying.
But I also think too, people need to understand that there are some things as well about your partners that you are going to have to accept as well. You know what I mean? It's like, Keisha's like, well, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It was like Saturday before you texted me.
Before I said, let's go to a haunted house.
The haunted house. I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know what's around here. She's like, well, Google, like, what do you want to do? I was like, but that doesn't help me. I was like, let's just go out and look for something.
That's adventure.
You know what I mean? And she's like, well, I don't like doing that. I was like, but that's how I do things.
Yeah.
I was like, to be honest, I was like, you want to map out and plan out everything that you want to do. And I just don't want to do that. She's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, what if you want to do something else more? You don't fucking know. Because you looked up one thing in a Google search. I ain't doing that shit. And then I got smart with her a little bit, because she's like, well, just type in, like, what to do, So I typed in what to do.
I'm glad that I was able to give you guys plans.
And it said,
last
read
night.
a book. And I was like, what do you think about this one?
I'm glad that I was able to give you guys plans.
But we were already out doing stuff. But, like, it's just because I just told her, I was like, listen, let's go out to eat somewhere. What kind of food are you feeling? She's like, well, you haven't had sushi.
Yeah, you're all you can eat
and
sushi.
I was like, oh my God, I still feel like shit after that. I don't like it. It was good food, but, like, fuck no. And, well, see, I got duped. She's not going to tell you this, but I got duped. So I ordered a couple things, like a couple rolls and, like crab and some other stuff, right? So I'm eating that. And I get done with my stuff. And Keisha's, like, occasionally just keeps handing me shit. Because she realized that she either ordered too much.
Oh my God, I farted.
Or whatever happened. And she just kept, like, handing me things. And I'm just sitting here like, well, am I supposed to eat it? She's like, well, I don't know if I can finish all of it. And I want to save and she's like, I want to save room for, like, one of the dessert items that she really wanted, which I get that. But she just keeps handing me shit. And I'm sitting here like, okay, she can't do it.
No more.
Can't do this anymore. Stop it.
No more, please. No more. No
or when she
more.
finally ordered her dessert thing, she ordered, like, one small thing of, like, I forget what kind of food, but she ordered 2 of them. One for me too, because she thought I'd want to try it. I'm like, why are you doing this? Stop. Like,
just having a food baby.
I gotta get out of here.
Back to the Amouranth thing though. So obviously, I'd go by the thing that I learned in the military: trust but verify.
Oh, of course.
So
That's one of the few things that the military does very well.
I
think it's an amazing philosophy that is almost never wrong.
trust but verify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it goes with the same thing like I do. Take it seriously, but don't believe.
And the thing is, like I even said, and I've done it before, and I will do it if this ends up being the case. If we are completely wrong about this whole situation,
yeah,
I'll make a video saying that I was wrong. We'll talk about it here too. And the whole thing is like with the people saying that like this is fucking very misleading. It's like, listen, I'm trying to compress my opinions in a 10 to 12 minute video with information that I have.
Yeah.
And I only have one side of it.
Well, unfortunately,
and this is how it looks to me.
Well, unfortunately, especially in Amouranth's case, like it does kind of suck for her and for a lot of women who are actually victims, because what people don't understand is there's actually a lot of women who lie. Like,
yes.
And I know there's a lot of feminists and a lot of women out there who don't like that fact, but there's a lot of fucking women who just lie.
Yeah, I know.
And they lie because they know that they can sit there and they can look all cute and harmless and innocent, and they can lie.
And I'm not saying, they can play on people's emotions.
And I'm not saying dudes don't lie. That's not what I'm saying at
Right.
all. But what I'm saying though is that video right there where she's looking at her phone all nice and sad, that garners a lot more sympathy out of people than if I was put in the fucking hospital. I'm just saying, it's natural programming. She's a small, petite woman who's all sad, makeup done, and she looks very harmless. And she knows, and I don't know, again, this is if she, and she knows that she can garner sympathy like that. I don't think that's what she's doing right now.
No, I don't think she is
Like,
either.
honestly, I don't think that's what she's doing. But a lot of women know that, and a lot of women know that they garner a lot of sympathy. You don't like what I have to say? Go ahead, look up the sentences of people who go to jail. Women have it a lot fucking easier.
Look at the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation.
Yeah,
everybody believed her up until the
Amber
fucking
Heard
trial.
Lied her way through the entire thing. She lied about almost fucking everything. Why? Because she's a poor defenseless woman who's so much smaller than her husband Johnny Depp. And he just
when
abuses
actually that
her.
wasn't true. They're the same size.
Yeah, they're about the same size. Johnny Depp's not a big man.
No, he's not.
People don't understand. So when it comes to
It'd
male,
be different if it were me or you.
so when it comes to male actors, I'll be 100% honest with you. Most male actors are actually very small. Robert Downey Jr. is the size I was in 6th grade. Like, seriously, I'm just saying. Like,
Tom Cruise is also a really little guy.
Yeah, actually, I think the only one who's like normal size is Chris Evans.
Yeah,
like Chris Evans is like 6'1", I think, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe?
and I'm not even 6 foot tall, so
Like-
it's like I'm not a big guy myself.
Yeah, I'm only burgeoning on 6 foot tall, but like I'm a largely built man.
My stature is a bigger frame. People think that I'm a stout boy. I'm a husky man. But yeah, like I was saying before, is just the other thing that like Alicia brought this up. Like content creators are fucking insane. Like they will do things like this.
Oh yeah,
and fake things like fake a health crisis or a mental health crisis or an abuse to get
there's
that.
a lot of people who will fake
like clout is addicting.
No, and I bet it. I
mean, look at Ninja. Ninja faked a mental health crisis, saying that I'm going to take a break because I just can't fucking handle it right now. He faked it. It came out that he faked all of that just to get his viewers boosted. So people do things like that.
But like I said, in this case, and I know I made the joke. I don't think
that's the case here.
In this case, it's not like Ninja or like a lot of other people where like, hey, your views come off of your video game playing or your anything. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll say it out loud, not because I'm insulting Amouranth, but why is she popular? She's popular because she's got big tits. She's very attractive. And she has a very nice voice. She's non-threatening in terms of stature and in terms of her facial structure. She's an attractive young woman who knows that she can get views because she's pretty. I'm sorry. That's what it is. And if she wants to do other stuff, more power to her.
And the thing is, that is okay.
And that's and you're right.
It's okay.
And that's fine. But I'm sorry. Like, I mean, you don't get fake tits put in and then get your jugs out every time because I just wanted to for myself. No, you don't. I'm sorry. But like, no, it's just the idea. She knows that she's attractive and she can get views, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, but what I'm saying though is that her popularity, because of the way that simps and the incel gang go, like she's going to be popular just doing her normal content anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't see you know, I would be a little bit more suspicious with that last video you showed me if her fucking jugs were fucking out. Not like just like, oh, like the one where she's like sad and like, yeah, she has cleavage. But I mean, like if her jugs were fucking out.
One of the things that video, I was hoping that we would hear it in that video. I don't know. I think Optimus's video has it. But one of the things she says in that response video was that like, I don't have to wear cleavage anymore. I can wear real clothes if I want to.
Yeah.
She's like Dobby has a sock. Dobby is free.
Is free. Yeah, exactly. Like
that's what she said.
But like exactly, like she's going counter, and the fact that she doesn't have sub goals, right? Again, I know that this can change on a dime. Maybe she's pulling a really long game con, but like,
and then the thing that also rose some flags for me in regards to that is or regarding that I should say is her Twitter. Her Twitter posts she had, and like granted these could be scheduled posts. But her Twitter photos that posts were of her, like, you know, and like really revealing clothing and stuff. And this was yesterday. And it's just like, and even I brought up to Alicia, I'm like, you know, if you think you're going through something like that, maybe you would probably not fucking post that kind of shit. But then people are saying, well, these could be scheduled posts. I'm like, okay, and that's fair.
And they definitely could be. And I know,
but
like,
it also, if they're scheduled posts, you can also unschedule them.
I mean, but also too, I mean, and I'm not just trying to defend her because again, I am always kind of trying to keep an eye out, like, hey, it's
trust but verify.
Exactly, trust but verify. But like, if you're really going through a huge crisis and your husband's been abusing you, you've been fighting back and forth, you're now talking with a divorce lawyer, are you gonna fucking take the time to? I don't want these titty photos going out on Twitter today. Like,
no, if you have other things going on, you're probably not thinking about that.
In that sense, I don't fucking think so. I'm sorry, like. You know, and for anybody who's like fired up about this for some reason, you'll find out here soon, man. It'll come out.
It really could honestly go either way.
Yeah.
And like we've said, like just recently, we don't think that's the case. We think this is a real thing. Yeah. This is something she's experiencing. And it's unfortunate. It also had me thinking also how many women on Twitch and OnlyFans and stuff are not there because they want to be, are there because their significant other has strong-armed them into doing it.
You know, I don't know. At first, when like things like OnlyFans and Twitch really came out, I didn't think so. Almost probably anybody. But unfortunately, when you got to the point where like there was a lot of people making a lot of fucking money, right? Like on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like there might be quite a few people out there
that are being exploited.
Who are being exploited on OnlyFans because they make a fuck ton of money. Like, you know what, like, I'm just saying.
And Twitch, too. It's like how many female content creators are truly trapped in a relationship where their significant other is forcing them to do certain things.
And again, I don't
that
know.
They've probably agreed on, but then it got pushed even further to the point where it's like, I really don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. Yeah. Oh, but you'll do it because it makes money.
Yeah, no, and again, my heart goes out, but like, it's just, I don't know. It's impossible to tell.
I know.
Because this is a whole new front. We don't know what it's like for most people doing this kind of shit. We don't know what goes on in people's homes. Also, too, it may be very different because I'm not going to lie, like, you know, a lot of people probably can't do stuff like this only because did Amouranth get popular and then get strong-armed into it? You know what I mean? Or did her husband think, she's pretty enough, it'll happen. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so hard to tell. Like, because until you get all the details, you don't know.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, again, I think there are a lot of people who probably do. You know what I mean? I don't even want to think about OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, you know, all you really got to do is, you know, if you want to make fucking money and you're trying to exploit somebody, you don't even got to show her fucking face except for a few photos and fuck her on camera. And then there you go. You have money. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, so I don't know, especially for Twitch, but OnlyFans would be kind of a dark hole to get into.
Yeah, Twitch. I think Twitch would probably be. I don't know.
It also too. Some of it too is like, I mean, to be honest, let's be honest here. Amouranth is probably a fairly submissive woman.
Probably.
You know, like just being honest. Like, I think that was me.
I can see that happening. Like she's a submissive person.
Well, I mean, you don't get here unless you're a submissive woman. I'm sorry. Like in her situation, because, you know, either she got popular and he took control during that time. Because like, I just thought to myself, like during part of it, like, and this wasn't again, like accusatory or anything, but it was just like, how did he get all of your stuff? He got your bank account. He got your logins.
2 factors, like, is
for
to him
everything.
For everything.
That's insane.
That's why it's like it feels like he was strong arming her into doing it because he had total control of all the accounts.
And then you also have to think about too, like, you know, if how about this? If I tried to do that,
Well, I could see it being easy to manipulate someone into doing that because it's like I can control the stuff. And also her husband is a music producer, so people are like saying like, did he already come from money and is trying to get and is just exploiting her? So it's like, what is the motive? If he came from nothing and was doing this, but he was a music producer.
Well, you have to understand though, like the way I'm thinking about it is, if let's say I tried to do that to Keisha, I probably wouldn't be able to get Keisha to do any of that shit unless I physically assaulted her on the daily and made her fear that I would kill her. You know what I mean? I couldn't see her going along, even if I was mean and nasty and rude, you know, yelled at the top of my lungs and did all that stuff.
That's because of her personality.
Yeah, it's because of her personality. You know what I mean? You know,
a submissive personality is more prone to being stuck.
Malleable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so that's what I was just like, I couldn't imagine getting to that point. And also the fact, and granted, I know he probably, to be honest, this man probably doesn't abuse her because
like beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, because either
like physically abuse
physically, right? Is because it would ruin his business model.
Not
right.
Yeah, that too.
You know
that,
what I mean?
Like it would be a painfully obvious thing, and people would notice that quickly.
Exactly. And so like I'm like, so Amouranth obviously like she's a submissive woman. I'm sorry, like. And so, you know,
I could see it being something that he convinced her that, hey, let's just keep it easy. I can manage it. Like I manage music and stuff.
Didn't start out with force, obviously, but like, you know, it probably was something simple like, hey, you know, let me help you out with your Twitch.
Like,
you know
hey,
I mean?
you can make a lot of money off this, and I can help you with it.
And then it started going into, hey, honey, you get a lot of views, you know, when your tits are out. Like, you should do that more. You know what I mean? And even though he's a music producer, hey, you know, we want to get more money to do this. Like, you know, just do a few.
And then that snowballs.
Then it snowballs, exactly. And as you gain more control, then it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I know. It's an unfortunate situation. I'm sure more information will come out at some point soon. So.
Oh yeah, and that's what I tell. And like I said before, it's like you'll know. Like it'll come to light.
Oh, you'll know. You'll know.
But like I said, it makes it very suspicious that he hasn't tried to say anything.
That particular, yes. So let's wrap this up.
All right.
We've been going at it for a bit now. So
yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Like and subscribe to the video if you made it this far. Love you and appreciate y'all. Remember, follow our Spotify link down in the description. Good hanging out with you again. Sorry if I farted a few times and it stinks. I've been drinking this protein.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a Bayonetta poster in the mail today.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Something very good.
Something very good in the mail today. Tits are nice, yes.
What was it? Her tits are fantastic.
Her pussy is juicy. Her tits are fantastic. All right, anyway. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good one.